Hello and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
My name is Buke.
My name is Jay.
This is Will.
This is John.
Jeez, the gang's all here.
Yeah, it's like a family reunion. But not only that, we've got a couple of the guys from Perihelion ship with us as well. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Oh, okay. I can go first. I'm Andreas Hammer. I play guitar and do the vocals for Perihelion ship.
Yeah, and I'm Jani. I play the keyboards.
Andreas, your last name is Hammer?
Yeah, it's German.
Then you didn't have any choice but to be in a heavy metal band.
Yeah, of course.
Is that where we get the American word sledgehammer from?
I guess so.
Yeah.
So, you guys just released your first album, A Rare Thunderstorm in Spring, back in January. Can you give us a little, a history lesson on Perihelion ship? Where'd you guys, how long ago did you get started, and what brought you guys all together?
Do you want to start, Hans?
Yeah, I can start. Well, basically, it started when mine and Jani's old band disbanded around like 2012 or something.
What was the name of that band?
It was a really starting band. It wasn't really going anywhere, so it didn't really develop into anything.
We wouldn't mind hearing the name, nonetheless.
Well, I'm not sure if Jani wants to give a
It was called Velen, and it was a sort of symphonic metal band that we were like starting out with a few rough demos, but it didn't really go anywhere. So we started our own band with Antsu.
Yeah, and it was also around time that like we got into Opeth really heavily and more into extreme metal stuff. So it was like it wasn't like enough interesting the stuff we were doing right at the time. So we decided to do something else. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the main point was that we were both looking with Andreas for something a little bit more like progressive. We were both really heavy into the 70s prog stuff. Antsu even more than me. He sort of showed that stuff to me, and then we wanted to like have, because I was a really big metalhead, so we wanted to somehow have that sort of like 70s complexity, and we found it in Opeth basically, and we really both liked Opeth, so we wanted to do a sort of a similar thing.
Do you like the last couple albums from them?
Yeah, sure.
Pale
Communion I like a lot, basically.
Yeah.
There's nothing really. A couple of songs are a little weaker, like obviously, but there are a lot of like couple of gems, like the last song and the first one. Mm-hmm. And Heritage is okay. It's not bad in any measure, but like it could be better. Like there are a lot of missteps.
Do you miss the harsh vocals?
No, not really.
Not really.
I don't know. It doesn't fit the new style anyway, so.
No.
True enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this first. Were you guys first into heavy metal, or was it the 70s stuff that you guys started with?
So it was more, as I a little bit said there, Antsu or Andreas was more into the 70s prog thing, and I was more into heavy metal when we like started out. So I had been listening to like Megadeth and Iron Maiden and stuff like that in my youth, whereas Antsu then showed me introduced me to all the Genesis and Yes and Pink Floyd and King Crimson and stuff like that, and I really loved that stuff too when he showed it to me. Yeah. And yeah.
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to ask Andre, how do you, as a young man getting into music, 70s prog stuff is an interesting, genre to really latch onto starting out with. How did you fall into liking that? Maybe your parents? Did you just by chance happen to find like a Yes album or something that started you down that road?
Put another way to simplify that question, who did this to you?
Yeah, it's Andreas, and it was like I liked a lot of like Led Zeppelin and Beatles before the prog stuff. I was listening to, like my father got a lot of Beatles records, and that we listened, and then he gave me, like when I was in high school, he gave me Selling England by the Pound, because I had already listened to the newer Genesis stuff, like growing up in the 90s. So I knew Genesis, but I didn't know the history, and then he gave me Selling England by the Pound, and I was like, what is this stuff? This is amazing. And
yeah, you didn't know the real Genesis,
No. This is amazing. This is what I want to hear, and then I just like picked all the best rock stuff and went there. Like
that's funny you should say that, because in my notes right here, I think you guys as a cross between like Nursery Crime and Foxtrot from Genesis and like Ghost Reveries from Opeth. I hear a lot of the same two bands interwoven. It's really funny that we start this whole thing out and you guys are talking about the exact things I wanted to ask you about without even asking you yet. So thanks for answering my question without me asking it.
Yeah, no problem.
So when you guys started Perihelion Ship, did you go into it knowing that you wanted to be both proggy and extreme, or did it start off in one direction and then you were like, well, let's just add some more of this too?
Well, I don't know. Like I think it like came naturally because like Opeth was so huge for us. Like for 2 years straight, I don't think I listened to anything else for like 2012 to 2014. It was like I listened to all the albums every day, and it kind of formed that direction naturally because of that. So
it's great. I think it lets the extreme fans get into something that they maybe wouldn't normally listen to, and likewise prog fans might be going, hey, well, that's kind of cool, that's kind of heavy, I like that.
Yeah, I think they're sort of a gateway drug for a lot of different styles and things, Opeth, that is.
Yeah, and I think it was like Jani's keyboard playing has evolved like so much during these couple of years. Like he has to learn new instruments like Hammond organ and mellotron. Like it's completely different than the synth sounds that we used in our older band. And you're used in metal bands using those like Children of Bodom type of synth sounds all the time. So it's completely different.
There was a lot of like connection with I think Antso's songwriting as well. That he was. I think is this correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, Antso, but that you were sort of like growing tired of the like guitars you were hearing in metal until you found Opeth, and you like found that like new way of approaching things. So for me at least, I thought that was one like really important factor, that there was this like new approach that hey, you can actually do this 70s prog influenced stuff even in metal. You don't
that's true.
Yeah. The one thing, John and I don't know if you picked up on this, John, but John and I are, about as big Opeth fans as there are in the world. The one interesting thing that jumped out to me about you guys is you have this real complex sound, but it's done with the work of one guitarist. That, to me, is really interesting.
Well, you've got the keyboard playing off of it, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I think, Andreas told me once when we were doing the things that, I think he more or less said that when I said that maybe we should have a lead guitar here to do this sort of thing, and then he sort of said, but can't you do that with the keyboards instead, so we don't have to.
Yeah, it's like the Doors had a keyboard player instead of a bass player or a second guitar, so it works.
Yeah. I think you hear that combination on your cover of Hangar 18. I think the keys fill in just nice doing the other guitar parts on there for the soloing, so I think it works for me well.
Yeah, how did you guys come about to record that?
It was actually our bass player is a huge Megadeth fan, and I'm also, but it was so long ago when I like listened to that nonstop. I was like 18 or something. So we thought that it would be like a nice like throwback to do a cover, because we had just like come out from doing the first album, and it was sort of a cool down thing, just something fun to do, practice. We mixed it ourselves, so some mixing practice as well. And
speaking of mixing, and I kind of interrupted you there as I'm prone to do. What can we talk about recording of the album and the circumstances? Did you do it in a studio? Did you do it at home? Just kind of run us through that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Where to start? I think we first went to we had the first two songs about ready, like Misplaced and Emperor, and then we went to record them with our drummer's Jari's friend's place, and then we just don't get like the performance wasn't good enough and the sounds weren't good enough. Yeah. We were just happy with the end result, and then we found Chris from he put his like announcement on the internet. There's the Finnish page for musicians where you can like find people and stuff.
Okay.
And he got he said that he likes to like produce metal for Finland, because he thought that like Finland lacks a metal producer basically. Like Sweden has like two top-notch producers like Jens Bogren and David Castillo, and he like wants to emulate those type of like
to name a few.
And then we had a long talk, and then we started to do those songs with him. And at first we went to the same place where we tried to record the first. It's a practice place actually. It's like a cellar or something, basement, how to say, and it's not very ideal for drum recordings, but still, like Chris got a very nice sound out of it, out of that place.
Cool. When you say places, it was an actual studio, or what was it?
There's a basement.
No, it's a, practice basement, like where our drummer's friend practices a lot.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
And, there we recorded the 2 first songs, and I think Jani can tell more about the next 2 songs because he was there in the studio.
Right. So as you can sort of notice right now, I don't know if you notice it with the record, but so the quality of the songs shift a bit towards the end, and this is because we didn't do it like we didn't record them all at the same place as it usually should be done. So because we were on a budget and stuff like that. So after those basement recordings, or what to call them, the first 2 songs, we booked a new place up in Kouvola, which is like 200 kilometers from Helsinki up north, and we recorded the 3rd and 4th track there. And Antsu was not there. I was overseeing that, and it was again totally different environment for the drums. It was much better. It was not a basement. It was more of like this semi-professional place, which had much better sound and stuff like that. And we basically recorded those in one day, like 6-7 hours. It went really smoothly, and then we came back again, and we still had to look forward to the title track, which is over 20 minutes long, and that also would be recorded in another place. So the quality would shift a lot in that sense.
Right.
That's interesting. I never really noticed it listening to it. It all sounded pretty good to me. I was going to comment on how for a first album, it doesn't sound like a first album. It sounds pretty, seasoned.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. This is Will, by the way.
Sure.
I have a couple questions for you guys because what you're describing almost doesn't make sense to me. And hear me out. So today I went on Encyclopedia Metallicum, and you could search by country for all the bands. And there is probably 200 bands that come from Finland that start just with the letter A.
I was looking at the same list.
Yeah. So there must be 10,000 bands that come from Finland, according to this website, which means that one of every 5 people in Finland is in a band.
A metal band, even.
Yeah, a metal band. So,
but not all of those bands still exist.
Right.
And actually, there was a statistic about that recently, believe it or not. I'm trying to remember where that was.
Oh, that was it was that President Obama thing. He said something about per capita, that Finland has the most metal bands or something like that.
Yeah. Right, and that's my point.
I heard
so
that
per
too.
capita.
It was quite a lot. Yeah.
So what was your question, Will?
47 per 100,000 or something. Yeah.
That's so good. I wish I knew that statistic about our country.
Yeah. So my question is, with that many metal bands and the population size of Finland, how do you not have a gazillion producers and a studio on every corner like you have a pub on every corner in the UK? Like, it almost blows my mind.
So there are a lot of studios, but they're also pretty expensive, and we were really on a budget. I was unemployed at the time, and what were you saying, Andreas?
Yeah, I was thinking, the least like metal bands, and for most people, it's like it's just a hobby. Like they go to drink beer. That's basically what they do, and then they release some demo, and then they get listed on Metal Archives. So
I think
that's the reason.
Yeah.
Are the bigger bands like Nightwish, who I don't think any of us on this show like? I'm guessing.
I like the first couple albums.
Yeah, okay. Are they like heroes in your country a little bit, or do you guys kind of look at them out of the corner of your eye? Or I mean, what do you think of the biggest bands?
Well, I can say for Nightwish, my friend is actually living in the same town as the keyboardist Tuomas Holopainen, the founder. And it's like this really small place, really small town where everyone knows everyone, and he sort of comes there from time to time, and it's sort of like this, like he tries to be like really low profile, and that's sort of that he knows he's one of the like townspeople in that sense. But I think Nightwish in Finland is really, it's like Finland is really like honored and like in that sense about Nightwish, but in that sense we're the same as you with Antsu, that I like their couple of first albums, but otherwise it's a bit over my head or not my thing.
What about
actually I saw them live in September. I got free tickets for their show.
That speaks
Then you should-
highly of free
No,
tickets.
we saw them also with Jani with the Imaginary in 2012 or
true.
something.
Yeah,
that was actually really
it
good.
was the show when they showed the movie right after. So
That was
it
really
like-
good, but this September show, oh my god, was fucking atrocious. I know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Was it? It's interesting too that with your accents, it sounds like Nightfish.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get all this talk out of here. I'll throw all this trash away. Let's get down to the real serious questions.
I actually wanted to-
Do you like beer?
No, the World Cup of hockey is going on right now.
Okay, you can skip that.
What do you think about Team Finland's odds right now? Because they're up against a rough game with Russia in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, so
You're asking the wrong people here.
yeah, so
It's okay. It's funny because whenever I meet, and I've talked to a lot of hockey players for our local team, and I'm like, so do you know these metal bands from your home country? And every time I ask them, they look at me like I'm a ghost. So I thought I'd flip the script and ask a metal band if they watch hockey.
And you got the same answer.
I got the same answer.
But just so you guys know, since you don't know much about it, I'll tell you this: all the good goalies are from your country.
Yes.
Yeah, that much I know.
Tuukka?
I usually
Yeah.
watch the important
Rene.
games from the World Series or
Yeah.
something like.
yeah,
not series, championship.
basically the World Cup is so like it's so like rare that it happens. Or I don't remember because I watched a lot of hockey when I was young,
Yeah.
and
Well, you
after
guys are about to play Russia, so hey, screw those commie bastards, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like we've never because we have in Finland. It's a bit like it's so like oversaturated. How would you say it comes all from everywhere, and they love the World Championships, which are played each year, which Canada doesn't even care about, and they send 17-year-olds to play that tournament, and then
And they
when
still win it.
yeah, yeah, and when Finland wins that once in a blue moon, like overjoyed by it, when Russia and Canada and USA don't even have their best players.
Well, actually, you know what? Regardless of sport, I'm curious if you guys have a grudge match against Russia, since that's right across the water there, and also they have such an influence on the parts of your country that are close to Russia. I think are very Russian areas influenced. Is there kind of a grudge match there?
Maybe a little bit. There's always some I think the media is trying to hype the players for like this big thing, but I think the grudge thing is really with Sweden. That's the
Really?
big it's not that much Russia ever than it's Sweden.
Yeah. If you're still talking about hockey, the grudge is definitely with Sweden. And actually, I know the Swedish guy, and he told me that when they lost, it was last year. They lost semi-final or final. What the hell? I can't remember. Anyway, and they actually had like a huge tabloid.
Like,
thing
what is
about
going
that.
on here? How did we lose to Sweden?
Well, yeah, like something like that.
So let me get back to the album. Yanni, we're Mellotron you play. Is that decades old? Is it a new Mellotron? Was that like a thrift store find?
No, it's actually a digital plugin.
Software
That's-
driven. Yeah, I was wondering
Okay.
too. All right.
Yeah, so I would love to play a real one, of course, but they are super expensive and almost basically impossible for my budget. So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of with the plugins and the digital stuff. There's a lot of tweaking you can do to make it sound like it's never like that. You get the plugin and you throw it on and that's it. You layer the crap out of it and EQ the crap out of it and everything until it's sort of starts to sound actually correct and good. So.
Let me ask you this: are they still making those, or is that meaning is the reason they're expensive because you have to buy a vintage one, or are they?
No, I think the real vintage ones might be a little bit more affordable, but then they're impossible to maintain. So they are making a sort of new line of those vintage in quotation marks, models which are super expensive. It's the same with the Hammond organ and everything.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think I've seen in some it's a digital, actually a digital synthesizer basically with a Mellotron, but it looks like a real Mellotron.
It actually looks like one. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's much cheaper that way because you can put all the tapes.
That was probably the first thing, gentlemen, that stood out. When I heard your album, I remember John, and we also on the podcast, we shoot albums back and forth almost daily or weekly. Hey, check out this, check out this. John, I woke up one morning, John said, Buke, check this out. And when when Misplaced Rainfall starts, which is track 1 off of A Rare Thunderstorm in Spring, when that starts and the keyboards and the Mellotron kicks in, I was hooked right there from the start. And I can't recommend anybody enough. If you love keyboard work and you love that Mellotron sound, you have to go check this album out. It hooks you right from the start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt the same way when you guys told me about it. It was sort of like an infection that spread through the podcast. It started with one guy, and pretty much everybody, as far as I know, is on board with this album now.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. No.
And George,
I think
when
that.
sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, continue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh yeah. This the idea came from. Do you know band Anekdoten? Have you heard of that?
Yes.
The Swedish band. Yeah, their debut album starts with a really beautiful Mellotron solo, and it came from that, like the idea, like this very beautiful music. So maybe we can try do something with that type of like idea and translate it to metal. So
Who was it? I missed the band that you referenced.
Anekdoten.
Do I know-
I'm
do you know
not sure if I pronounce it the way you do. Like,
Yeah.
That sounds
that's
right.
a Swedish-
I can send it to you later, Jay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it
Swedish.
does ring a
It's
bell.
the Swedish is anekdoten, but you would probably say that it's like anecdoten or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I still don't know it, but yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll hook me up, Jerry.
Will do.
So for the record, you guys mentioning Anecdote, and you would think that I'd be the only one who would know them on the podcast, seeing as I'm quote unquote the prog guy.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear somebody mention a band that goes that direction. Very nice.
Okay. Have you heard their latest album?
Not yet. No, I haven't. Is it good?
It's really good. It's really good. You should
Is it?
try it.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
So, as you already mentioned, the title track is over 20 minutes long. Did that one just sort of get away from you, or you're like, whoa, just can't rein it in. Let's just let it do what it does. Let it go.
Before you answer, I was going to ask that, George. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask if it's easier for you guys to write longer songs, or if it's harder. Because I know some musicians, like Mike Romeo from Symphony X, has always said it's easier for me to write a 10-minute song than it is to write a 4-minute song. And your songs are all long for the most part. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you asked that, George. 'Cause I was going to go right that way.
What the hell were you guys doing on The Poet and the Mad Moon at 4 minutes and 48 seconds?
Was that just like a brief thought?
Well, it was like a filler track, so it's fucking shit.
You were the only one in the
really
studio that day?
Okay. Well, what can you tell me about the album cover art?
Which is really cool, by the way.
Yeah, so that's my friend from the university. He is. He's not. He's like a hobby painter. He's a really talented painter, and he draws a lot of stuff on his free time. But he doesn't really do it professionally in any way. He just likes to paint something from time to time, and we share the same like music taste with him, so he sort of can easily we can like walk into the same mood and understand each other. So it wasn't like really hard trying to describe the like mood and atmosphere of the album to him. He sort of got it on his first try. So
And what was his name?
Mikko Jaakonsaari.
Okay. Thought we should give him some credit.
You know what?
Yeah,
the thing
he did a
is,
good job.
Johnny, don't even listen to George when he asks these questions, because no matter if you say it 10 times, to us being stupid Americans here,
Yeah,
goes
it might
right
as
over
well.
our head. With trying to
I have to
By
admit.
the way, can I add some, because we were talking about earlier about writing short songs. And, was it John that
right.
said that quote? And actually, I kind of agree. There's for our new album, there's going to be a couple of shorter tracks, and I've really struggled with those. Like I've written the main riff like 100 times over and over, and until I'm satisfied with it, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
So it is
So I can
easier.
agree,
For you,
yeah.
It is easier for you guys to approach 10 minutes, 12 minutes on your songs, is what you're saying then?
No, it depends on the situation. I think like the 20-minute song, it was a pain in the ass for me. I was struggling with it. I thought it was going to be shit. Honestly, I thought it was going to be crap as hell. So
Well,
maybe
I-
Yanni's keyboard saved it or something. So
I was going to say that I think the song is fairly seamless, meaning I think you guys transition between the parts pretty well, because you listen to some bands, they'll write, well, George and I can tell you, but we're not going to go into any diatribes about a band we saw at Prague Power. But you know,
I heard that.
yeah, we did too. Trust me. But you guys, in 20 minutes, it seems like within, I guess there's 5 parts to the song. It's kind of a seamless transition between each part, where some bands seem to struggle to make that transition when they want to do a different idea within the same song. So you may think it may have come out, or you thought it might have been shit. It sounds pretty damn good, I think. So I think you succeeded in that standpoint.
Yeah, and as Hans was just saying that, I think his like sweet spot when writing writing songs is the 8-10 minute mark that he can like do really good, like without trying having to backpedal too much with the writing and rewrite stuff. But then when it goes either over the 10-minute mark or less than 10-minute mark, then the problems arise. So
we're at
It's like
11 minutes. We got to cut this thing off now.
Shut him down before he screws it up. I like that. It's like I can go. I'm going 100 miles an hour, but 110, we're all in trouble, man.
So what you guys are basically saying is, if you guys ever try and do something on, say, like a sleep level, it's going to be an absolute masterpiece of an album.
I think he's talking about Dope Smoker.
Dope Smoker.
Yeah, so give you guys like an hour and a half to lay something down. It's going to be a masterpiece.
So on the new album, if you've got a song that's about 11 minutes and it just literally fades out of nowhere, we know that you guys just cut it right then and said we're done.
It's actually just 10 minutes long, and then the last 2 minutes are just
Dead air.
So we have talked to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I was just saying that on the new album there's a super short song, which is really weird for us. And the idea was that I wanted to challenge Andreas' songwriting a little bit, because we know a couple of good metal songs that we really like that are short. And I asked him that do we always need to write the longer song? We could try writing a short song that's super good, like really condensed into the like super good parts and nothing else, and sort of just smacks you in the face and then stops.
Can you
Go ahead. Yeah,
I'm just gonna ask a follow.
Yeah,
it's like one of those examples. I'd like to know what was your idea of a good example of a compact song?
Yeah, so that would be Winter Suns, the first album of Winter Sun, the first song out of that album, Beyond the Dark Sun, which is I think, is it under 2 minutes even?
I think it's 2:40 or something.
Yeah, but super short still, but it never really, it's still one of the best metal songs ever written, I think, and it's super short, and it still is able to have so much like stuff in it, even though it's so that's amazing. And so that was sort of the reference that I told Ansu that could we try to do, and I have to give it to Ansu that he wrote the first version, then he wrote the second version, then he wrote the third version, and they were like, and now what are we, Ansu, on the fifth version or something?
I think this is probably the third version, but I've changed a lot of the riffs.
Yeah, one time he called me and asked me that, Jani, that this one riff, it's in 196 BPM. I think it should be in 197. What do you think?
Prague people are the best, man. What a couple of nerds.
That's splitting hairs, all right.
Trust me, death metal bands are not having that conversation.
Yeah. I think my answer was that I have no fucking idea.
So you mentioned...
Yeah, I've noticed maybe it's just in my head. So
you're working on a new album, we're hearing. Is there anything you can tell us about the new album at this point? Like, do you have any sort of end date in mind, or how far along are you?
Yeah, I think we got actually today most of the drums done for now, and I think we might get next Sunday to get the rest. If some of the really hard kick runs might have been a little loose, so we have to get back, because we actually booked 2 weekends, and everything went so good yesterday, and we got 3 songs done in one day, and we started the 4th one, and today we finished the last, basically.
Do you have any lyrics written yet, or an album title or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think, are we ready to release Andreas the album title? I think it's fine.
Yeah,
this would be the place to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna release it anyway on Facebook.
Is it going to be a common snowstorm in summer or something?
So the album name will be To Paint a Bird of Fire.
Ooh, I like that.
And we love it when we get a scoop on this show.
Yeah, and I'm trying to write a concept album with the lyrics, but it's tough this time because Ansu has written the music first, because on the debut album it was the other way around. I wrote the lyrics and he wrote the music on top of the lyrics, and now I'm really struggling with, I have this vague concept story in my head that I'm sort of I want to be subtle about it so that it doesn't become Dream Theater with Lord Nefarious or something. So so I'm really trying to like hit all the right spots with it, and then there's like you have to. Andreas has written a chorus that's like 3 repeats only or something, and I have to like hit that with it, and it's really hard. But I think it will come out okay. I've already written like half of the lyrics or something. So
I like that. I'm picturing is it Anders or Andres?
Andreas, I think.
Okay, Andreas.
I'm not
Excuse me.
Really sure.
I'm sort of. I'm picturing you purposely trying to write him into a corner. He's like, there you go. Try to get your lyrics on that, buddy.
Yeah, speaking of names, I have to admit that, first of all, I was really happy that you guys both have relatively easy names for me to pronounce. I spent a bit of time on a Finnish name pronunciation website trying to get everybody's names down, and I'm like, these are the 2 easiest ones. Excellent.
well, Andreas is actually Swedish and German.
Right, exactly. So I was like, all right. I mean, you know, like pretty much any like Moonsaro song title, forget about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There's just way too many K's and O's and U's and wow.
We were thinking about writing the next, the 3rd album actually. In
No,
Finnish,
don't give away too much.
But I don't think we will do that. Maybe.
Are you guys both in the same town right now?
No.
Where are you?
It's like 20 kilometers apart.
Okay.
30.
And is one of you in Helsinki, or where are you guys from?
So
Yeah,
we're
I'm
both
from Espoo and he's from Vantaa. It's like I'm living in the west side of Helsinki and he's living on the east side, basically.
Yeah.
Are you
Just
familiar with a place? I keep seeing ads for it where they've got these like glass igloos that you can go and sit and sleep there and watch the northern lights. My wife keeps telling me she wants to go there, and I know it's in, I think it's like north of Helsinki.
Everything's north of Helsinki.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Quite a lot. It's like 1,000 kilometers north. So I know the place, but it's kind of creepy because I think what I've seen from the ads is like the windows are open, like you can see through the igloo.
Yeah. It's basically like a glass igloo.
Yeah.
And my sister lives in Norway, in Tromsø, and so we were trying to plan a trip where we could go visit her and then maybe do a road trip over to Finland to see that.
Yeah.
I've actually, this is Will. I've actually been to Helsinki a couple times, and I don't think it's that dull and boring.
No, but I was referring to the northern part when you're basically coming from Tromsø, which is like super nice with the like high mountains and fjords and everything, and then you're coming to Lapland and everything just evens out, and then
It's Kansas. Have you guys seen this metal meme that says it's a joke and it sort of says 80% of a Finland park ranger's job is finding is to find bands who got lost while they were getting their picture taken out in the wilderness.
Yeah, I've seen it.
yeah.
Hey, this is Will again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
go
sure.
ahead.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you. One, the name of your band, Perihelion Ship. How did you come up with that? Because from what I understand, perihelion is the closest point that a planet gets to the sun. So, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but tell me a little bit about how you picked the name for the band.
Yeah, it was kind of a misheard lyric or something. I'm not sure how to say, but there's I was reading some like history on relativity, the theory and something, and there's this
That's our
before
broadcast do.
Yeah, that's what broadcasts do. And there was this competing theory with relativity, the theory of gravity at the same time, and they came up with the same result of the shift of Mercury's perihelion. And it's actually, if you derive it mathematically, it's actually the same, but it comes from a different like theory for the physics. And it was interesting. So yeah.
Again,
and then,
illustrating the vast chasm between death metal bands and prog bands. I was reading about relativity one day.
Yeah, but the funny thing was that we were thinking about the band name, and then Andrew, just because he had read that fancy stuff, he said that what about perihelion shift? And and I misheard him saying perihelion ship, and I was like, what, perihelion ship? That's kind of cool. And then he was like, yeah, well, I was saying shift, but ship is okay.
Hey, well, that's pretty awesome. That makes for a good story.
That's a great story.
That's the actual, actually.
It's a good thing you heard the word ship.
Yeah,
and not the
Perihelion ship.
And maybe some people who will hate us, so they will that name. So
I can't imagine.
That review is tough, so sure. And one of these days, you're going to have a 2-word review, and you can guess what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There will
guys,
be
let me
those,
ask you,
I'm
so
quite sure.
when you guys do play live, do you just run through the album?
And do you play live?
Yeah, and do you play live?
Really rarely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would like to play more. That's for sure. But it's really hard to like. Nobody knows us where we got like 3 Finnish fans or something plus our girlfriend. So it's like it's like. Getting the shows is really hard here. Like getting to know people. Of course, I'd like to play with bigger bands and so forth, but
What's
to get scene. So
what's the metal scene like in Finland? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of bands. Is there a lot of like camaraderie between all the different bands, or is there like rivalries between the black metal bands versus the death metal bands versus the prog bands versus the power metal bands?
There's maybe some, but we're not that inside the scene in that sense that we could be like saying anything of value of that thing. But sometimes in a bar you sort of hear like something, but no, we can't really comment on that. But we would probably love to be in the scene in that sense that we could actually be fighting with someone.
So you guys are like a hidden gem.
Yeah, well, if you say so.
Well, honestly,
after the millions of people who listen to this show, trust me, your sales are about to go through the roof.
That was said a little bit sarcastically. By
There's
the way.
some sarcasm there.
Hey guys,
so you're too a hidden gem, or
Yeah, we're working on it, but
Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a couple questions for you guys. So, one of the times I was in Helsinki, I got invited to a Finnish bachelorette party. Are you guys familiar how insane these things are?
Yeah, you should see
I can imagine, but
men's bachelor parties.
yeah, what were you doing at the women's one?
That's an interesting
It's kind of hard to explain how I got invited, but
Were you wearing clothes?
Had a boombox.
it was like a weird situation where people were. It was like a scenario where they kidnapped the bachelorette. They took away her passport. They put her on a jet ski. They drove to Estonia, and then everyone's dressed up like fairies and drinking beer later. Like it was insane. Like it's Does that sound familiar to these guys?
it's very familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just watched that porno last night, Will. What the heck?
That was the reason why your Skype connection was down. I was Duke was downloading Finnish
We're just
porn.
joking about that.
No, downloading Finnish porn, exactly.
Sounds like a prog festival.
After being at a prog festival, I can assure you it's not.
So my other question
Was it lead down or something?
No, it wasn't. It just was not like wild and crazy. Although, to be perfectly honest, we didn't hang out at the Artmore, which is where all the party stuff was probably going down. So maybe it was.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions?
Yeah,
Will?
sorry, I had another question, and it is
Something a little more, something not so down to earth, Will, okay? Ask a crazy question now.
All right. So my second crazy question is, do you guys like beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Are you drinking beer right now? It must be like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night right now.
Yeah, I am at least. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm drinking too. And
What are you guys drinking? What's your guys' favorite style of beer? Maybe a brew you like? A brand?
I like a lot of beers, but in Finland it's sort of a bit complicated because the Finns like beer, but we have sort of the most terrible stock beer that there is. And when I was to America at one point in DC, I could find all these crazy cheap ones that were so much better than the Finnish cheap ones. But so in Finland you have to sort of pay for the good stuff. It's really expensive to buy good beer, and so the Finns really don't want to always waste that much money, and they sort of become jaded with this shit beer and used to drinking this really bad beer. And you can find, of course, a little bit better brands, but in Finland it's mostly lager. That's the not the darker or the dark stuff, more the really light lager stuff.
The German style pilsner.
Well, let's do this. Let's have a little beer roundtable. I'll start with what we're drinking so far. I hate pumpkin beers. I've said it numerous times, and I'll stand by it till the day I die. Except Flying Dog the Field. beer.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
They're Imperial Pumpkin. I like.
What's weird, View,
Can you
because
show,
I thought I saw
have you
that.
poured it in a pint or something? Can you show it? How it looks.
Yeah, this is
The color
I will
of-
drink
The color.
another one.
I've never seen
I will
pumpkin
show you
beer,
another.
yeah.
I will. I will show you another one because this one's drank. But yeah, I don't like here in the states, guys. Pumpkin beers have exploded
okay.
in popularity. You know, people like the fall season and they like the pumpkin flavor in their coffees and cooking and baking and stuff.
Well, and just in case you don't know, that's not actual pumpkin. It's called pumpkin spice. It's like it's a thing you put in pumpkin pie. So
It's like nutmeg and
all of this might
spice
mean
and
nothing
clove.
to you guys, but yeah, it's a thing here in America.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that they're supposed to come out around October, November, but now because they're coming out in like July, August. They're coming out much earlier in the year, so
Thanks.
they can compete for shelf space.
Thanks, Sam Adams. For
Yeah.
that one.
Now, Will and John, what are you guys drinking?
Well, we
And then we'll
started
get
off.
to our guest.
Yeah, we started off. Well, I started off with the Alpha Ox by Old Ox Brewery, which is the great Dr. Lang. Dr.
Lang.
Is the head brewer there now, and then we switched over. John brought back from Georgia the Wicked Weed Dark Age Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout, which was absolutely delicious. And now we are drinking the Wild Heaven Craft Beers Invocation Belgian Style Golden Ale, and also very delicious. So thank you, John.
Yep, from Atlanta.
All right.
And you know what? Really quick,
Awkward silence.
I heard when you guys mentioned it on the pod, John, you guys stop in Mooresville at a beer shop. That's the exit that I get off of when I go to visit my parents down in Charlotte. So
Nice. Well, that's
very familiar with that. Very small world.
Oh yeah, Ultra
Didn't
Ales
you-
was a
one of
great
you
little
guys
bar.
like have
Ultimate
a
Ales.
brewery or something. Like we've heard, Jani has heard basically all of your podcasts, but I've heard like
Twice.
4 or 5. What?
Twice, all of them.
Twice. Oh, okay.
Maybe.
wow.
Yeah. But didn't you like one of you have your own brewery or something?
Yeah, Will
Who is it?
does.
Yeah, I brew beer for a living.
Yeah, nice.
What?
Okay,
what
now, gentlemen, what are you guys drinking?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm drinking this Karhu lager. It's basically like it's a beer. It's actually beer, like the animal beer.
Is that what it's called? BEER. That's the name of the. That's
No,
the name of it.
No, Karhu means animal. How do you pronounce it? Beer?
Bear.
Bear.
Bear, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
bear.
Beer.
Like polar bear, grizzly bear, brown bear, black bear.
Yeah,
Bear,
and I've
So-
been drinking it the whole day. So,
So for a reference, you have Yingling there in the States.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, but 3 times worse.
So it's like Nanny Bo.
Yeah, so it's like Budweiser, is what you're saying.
Maybe 1% better than Budweiser.
See how they didn't mention Coors Light, guys? Good to go. I
Yeah,
like
well,
these guys.
we weren't talking about water. We were talking about beer.
Yeah.
how strong, by the way, is it? Like the normal market beer that you get, like Budweiser or something? It's like 5% or something. But is
Something
it?
like that.
I think Budweiser is like 5.2 or something like that.
But that's like strong. We got
Oh,
that's
not
like
strong at all.
4.6 or
This
something.
fear I'm drinking is a 9%.
Oh man.
Yeah, so far we've been drinking the Dark Age that John brought is 12%. The Invocation is 8.5%, and the Alpha Ox is it's 4.5%.
Yeah, it's a session.
I don't really buy crafts anymore that are less than 8. You know.
Well, aren't you just Mr. Beer Snob?
Yeah,
Excuse me. Look at this alcohol percent snob over here.
Yeah, so Jay,
What?
if you need help getting to your meeting, just let me know. You can use us in your 12 steps.
George,
What is
you
it?
want to get a couple more questions?
What's the standard? Well, I want to know what the standard over there in Finland is because it sounded like high numbers to you guys. It seemed to me.
Yeah, so we only have in the grocery store the limit is I think 4.7 or
Wow.
That's
4.8.
okay.
Yeah, but so you have to go to the liquor store, which is sort of controlled by the government. So it's only one place that sells everything, and
We
they-
have states like that
control
here.
it.
I can
Yeah,
see
so-
the Buke's face. That's fucked up.
The government always in everybody's business
Well,
here.
in the United States, we have states that are like that. Our southern states all have very peculiar laws and rules that are very much like that. But here in California, we
all
we
those
want-
Christians.
Yeah.
but Baptists.
Yeah.
Dirty.
What? What's the liquor?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What's the liquor
back
of
to your
choice
question
there?
if-
Liquor of choice.
Yeah. What's
I think there's some connections issues a little bit, but yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering, what do most of the Finns like for liquor?
Spirits.
Russia's is always, vodka.
Yeah, it's vodka for Finns as well.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
The Finnish vodka is a little bit different. Usually the Russian stuff is either super low quality or super high quality, and the Finnish is sort of there in between. So, and it's much more cheaper to like get drunk with vodka than it is with like beer or wine. So usually it's just, the 1 liter vodka bottle in your face and then you're ready to go.
Okay, so after we're done recording, then, hey, you guys can link up with Jay and talk about your alcoholism problems.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, I'm curious. I have to ask one kind of cultural question, and I'm sorry if we got everything we know about Finland out of a leaflet, but is it really the culture there? Do you guys have the culture where you go to the steam baths and all that kind of stuff? Is that really as big as I hear it is over there?
Oh, yeah. I've done it.
To what?
Like, I'm using the word steam bath, but there's probably another word for it.
Sauna.
Excuse me. Is that really as ingrained in your culture as I hear it is?
Yeah,
like
everyone does it.
Everybody does that.
It's probably the most traditional Finnish thing is the sauna.
And is there like a lot of public places you can go to do that?
Yeah, there is in every there's in every swimming what's it called hall
swimming hall. Yeah, but I mean like this really like fancy places for that. Like you can have like actual like food in sauna as well if you want.
Fancy, but in the sense that we also cram the sauna in every place you.
Right. Yeah, like at the convenience store has a sauna.
Our little place here has a sauna also. So.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah. No, when I was there, I went up to somebody's, like a lot of people have summer homes or whatever, and then the big thing is go into a sauna, then jump into the cold lake, then get back in the sauna, jump into the cold lake, and that's what I did many times.
That reminds me of the, a year or two ago, there was an article about the guy from Winter Sun and how he was trying to do a Kickstarter to finance the studio that he wanted to build so that he could, properly record the next album. And people were giving him a lot of shit because he was going to put a sauna in the studio. And they're like, why do you need to do a fundraiser to get money so you can have a sauna in your studio?
It's like us putting a bathroom in a studio. It's like you have to have it.
Yeah, basically just that.
I never heard how that panned out.
The metal is better.
Yeah.
If everybody feels loose and all the toxins are out of your body.
Nice.
So it's prog sauna influenced metal is what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Very relaxed.
All right, I don't know.
Since we're on the absolute non-album, non-Perihelion ship on the cultural questions, I do have one, and I want to know if I understood this right or if I'm saying it right. But from what I understand is that when in Finnish, if you want to say like, holy shit, I'm drunk, you don't really say holy shit, I'm drunk. You say like, butter pussy, I'm drunk. And it's voi vittu mä olla kanissa. Is that correct?
I have no idea what you just said.
So he said, voi vittu on kännissä.
Voi vittu mä olla kanissa.
Okay.
I think somebody set you up, Bill.
Did
that's why I'm
Will
asking.
just curse you and generations to come or something? What the hell was that?
My name is Will.
He basically said that, oh fuck, I'm drunk.
Okay.
So, okay. Because I'm thinking somebody ran into Will before the show and there was like, over there, they don't wear pants. Ask them about it.
Oh,
I've
jeez.
been there, man. They do wear pants.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. I don't know about anybody else, but I've got one more question before we get into the regular show. And I was curious, how accepted is metal in the mainstream in Finland? Is it like normal for people to listen to metal, or is it like an underground thing? Or, given that you have the most metal bands per capita, how many people actually listen to metal there?
I think it's pretty normal. Nobody likes. You can find metalheads in the streets. You just walk by and you can clearly see it. This guy listens to metal. Like you walk in Helsinki.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
And yeah, but I'm sure if it's like mainstream or anything, like it's not commercial.
I gotcha. Just like anywhere else, really.
Like Nightwish. Nightwish is probably the only commercial band that you can find. So.
Fair enough.
And they're extremely commercial. So, I mean, it stands to reason.
So the commercial music is commercial and the non-commercial music is non-commercial. Got it.
Yeah.
So it's the same all over the world.
Exactly.
It's the same all over the world. And you guys, you and your ilk are probably more well thought of over here than there as far as being mainstream goes. Meaning, more people would know Amorphous here and hold them in a high esteem than maybe in your own country.
Yeah, I think we have like one Finnish fan or something, and the rest are from the US or.
Yeah, probably. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's the way of things in the internet world, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Any specific questions? Obviously, we can continue asking them throughout the episode if they come to us. But
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if it comes to us, can we all take a break maybe for a second? Grab a drink.
I got one more quick
pee.
question.
Yeah, sure.
Quick question. Yeah. So because there's three languages in basically Indo-European that don't have. There's three languages in Europe that have no link to the Indo-European or Indo-European style languages. It's Hungarian, Estonian, and Finnish. So nobody speaks Finnish except unless you're from Finland. So you guys obviously speak English extremely well. What other languages do you speak?
So I speak Swedish. I lived there for 1 year when I was like 5, and I picked that up, and I went to Swedish school actually here in Finland. So because of that, well, Antsu, you speak a little bit of German, don't you?
Yeah, well, I understand a little bit of German, but I've lost it a long time ago. So, and a little Swedish now, because we have to, like, when we do the university degree, we have all have to go like quite a hard exam about Swedish.
Okay.
Like, you actually have to speak it, and the lecturer has to understand it, and so forth. So
Yeah, I'm just curious.
So, as we all come back from taking a quick break, that's been edited out that none of you realized we were on a break. I have come back and I am drinking a Breckenridge Brewery pumpkin spice latte.
What?
You
Dude,
hate
all right,
those.
first of all,
Why do you hate them so much? Why do you keep buying them, dude?
Because it's another stout that I have to check off the list.
Oh, okay. All right.
okay.
It's like, you know how somebody who likes to be whipped or spanked or something, they're like they don't like it, but they
You're a
need it.
sadomasochist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need this for the check-in. So,
Fair enough.
what are you guys drinking now?
John and Will,
We are drinking from Wild Heaven again, something called Civilization. It's a barley wine, and we're clocking in at another 12%.
Yes, we'll be feeling pretty good at the end.
I'm also drinking
typical
Wild
Will
Heaven.
fashion.
This is from our Atlanta Spoils. It's called the Emergency Drinking Beer.
That's awesome.
I bought it just because it was funny, and unfortunately, I bought a 6-pack, and 4 of the 6 just randomly exploded in my pantry yesterday. So I'm drinking one of the 2 that survived.
Can fill up. Is the canning just bad on that, you think?
I don't know.
It's crazy. Literally.
Yeah, it wasn't
Guys,
like it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it was just normal climate control.
Maybe that's the emergency part. They're like,
Yeah, it's emergency. Drink it fast before it explodes.
My guess is that the carbonation on it was too high, or they left too much yeast in it and sugars in it, and it started to bottle conditioning, bottle re-fermenting, but they did it in cans, and cans can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what I would say would happen.
It did not endear me to my wife, who had to clean up the pantry and complains that it still smells like beer.
Just put some baking soda in there, go away in a day.
Yeah, that's what I said. All right, so is anybody else drinking anything new?
yeah, I'm drinking some red wine,
Excellent.
some Shiraz or something mixed. Actually, really good.
Mixed with vodka.
Yeah, mixed.
really?
That's a Finnish way.
Everything's better with
We're gonna
vodka.
have a long morning, man.
All right, well, why don't we move on then? So the next item on our list, in case you didn't listen to the in between episode that we posted, John and I just got back from Prague Power 17 in Atlanta a few days ago, a little less than a week ago, and it sounded like Buke had some questions about that.
I did. First off, it sounds like you guys had a great time. I was very jealous that my wife had to have surgery this week, and I had to save my leave to take care of her.
Oh, damn it.
But no, all jokes aside, sounds like you guys had a great episode, and John and George, great job stepping up. Your friend TR, John, was absolutely great on the podcast.
He sounded like a natural, didn't he?
He did. He
Yeah,
sounded like
yeah.
a natural. It was great to have him filling in. Something I wanted to talk about that was surprising to me was this was the 17th year now of Prague Power, right?
That's correct.
It sounded like the technical problems were very prominent happening this year, which
No,
surprised me for a thing that had been going on for a festival. But I know like Spock's Beard had the big problem.
Yeah.
But you guys, it sounded like each band, the first couple songs for a lot of bands were a little hit or miss. And it would seem like something like Prog Power they've done so many times that they would have this stuff just nailed down.
I honestly think it's just random. The Spock's Beard thing, apparently, George, I heard, we were wondering what it was. It was the guy's laptop having a problem with the keyboards, apparently.
Well, we've never had any problems like that today.
Yeah, exactly. So Buke, I think that's just one of those years where it happened a few times. The Devin Townsend one, he had his own soundboard person working, so I'm going to put it all on that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have one stage only, not two stages, so they don't have that extra bit of freedom to set up like a Death Fest like they do when everyone disappears to the other stage, and they can kind of just roam about. They have to kind of crank that out, and I don't know.
And like you said, they're all volunteers, so.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. I think it's the house sound person. We used to go to Jack's and you see a show and you'd be like, my goodness, the sound is killing me tonight. It's because they were using their house guy. So I think sometimes when you use a house sound engineer and the guys in the bands here,
we all know what the
house.
wrong. Yeah, we all know what the house sound guy is. Close your eyes and picture 53, long gray hair,
Ponytail,
wears
hearing aids,
wears glasses, has his girlfriend or wife somewhere in the vicinity.
You just described John, by the way.
Not even close, dude. I'm 48. I'm not 53.
Has his pack of Marlboro Reds in his pocket, button-up shirt.
Yeah.
But Buke, that's interesting you said, because it seemed like some of the bands we wanted to see the most had problems. But all in all, though, a lot of bands had zero problems at all. I mean, when Refuge went on, not only did they get set up fast, it's from the very beginning, it sounded good all the way to the end. So I think it just mattered on who the band was, and any bands that aren't going to bring keyboardists or going to pipe in a lot of symphonics had a lot of problems, it seemed like.
Okay, and also, would you, John, have enjoyed it so much and gone back all these years if it was outside?
No.
Okay.
It's because Death Fest is very regimented. Even though it's more laid back, it's more regimented in terms of the schedule. I mean, it's just one band after another, doesn't stop, and 11 o'clock comes and we're done. We're going. Prog Power can go on all night. It just depends on who's playing. And it's because of the long layovers, half an hour layover, it just seems like it's a longer day for some reason, even though we're sitting the whole time. Yeah. It just feels that way.
It was brutal.
Just to clarify, is Prog Power indoors?
It is.
Yeah, it's an indoor venue that holds about 1,100 people, and it's 4 days. So
okay.
Yeah, and you're like 8 to 12 hours.
That sounds harder to me. See, I wouldn't want to sit down. I mean, that's the cool thing about Death. I mean, there were times when I wanted to sit down, but I mean, you can wander off and kind of move your legs a little bit, and so on and so forth. I can see how sitting like that is like being on an airplane, and going to Europe.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You got only like one stage, or
it's just one stage. Yeah. Jay, you can get up. You can stand on the floor if you want. I mean, there's a vending room. There's all places to go. It's just at Death Fest, we only had to walk out to the one parking lot, and then we could all stand out there and drink beers and hang out. You got to walk a little bit to get to food and stuff like that. Even though they had food at the venue, you wanted to leave the venue, you have to do a little bit of walking. So a lot of people end up staying at the venue. Plus, they have huge signing lines. Bands, I mean, George, correct me if I'm wrong, that line for Fate's Warning, was that over 100 people or 150 people, it seemed like?
It was very long.
It was long. And so, Jay, it ends up that you don't want to hang out in the lobby because you got all these people who are there for the signings. You got all the food and beer out there. And so you avoid staying and all that because it's a ton of people on one spot is what it is.
Did you guys get anything signed?
I did. No, because I could give a crap about that stuff.
Yeah.
But
me too.
My friend TR, he got in line for Fate's Warning and he got lucky to get some stuff. And my other friend Romy was in line for Green Carnation, but I think that was all we did. So as a group.
Talk about Fate's Warning a little bit though, because to me I know it's the reason, it's the thing that pushed George over the edge to go, and it's a good reason to go because you're not going to get to hear John Arch sing much anymore, not in a live situation. So how was that?
George, I'll let you go first since that was your main thing.
You guys did not speak on it as much as I thought you would. You guys just said, yeah, it was great. We knew it would be.
Yeah, it's because it was what you expected. I mean, they came out, they played, they sounded great, and it was what it was. They didn't have like a power and a presence like Devin Townsend did or like the Gentle Storm did. It was good, and that's why it didn't make my number one for the weekend ultimately. Because I'm not knocking it anyway. It was great, and I loved it, and I love being able to check that box off of my bucket list. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think, John?
I think they came and did what they were supposed to do, which was play Awaken the Guardian, and everybody was happy. They were happy on stage, but there was no element of surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest, we've all heard Awaken the Guardian if you're a Fates Warning fan, and you expect it's going to be good because even though 3 of the guys haven't been playing that much, you still expect that it's going to be good because they're all good musicians. So we got what we paid for with them without any big surprises. We knew they were going to play other songs off the first 2 albums. And whereas with Devin Townsend, if you've ever seen him live, just from Will's reaction when he saw Devin Townsend the first time, and his first question he asked me is like, what's the deal with this guy? If you don't know him, you've never seen him, or if you don't get him, it's not a culture shock, but you sort of feel that way because he brings a whole different world on stage. And he's very serious. It's just part of his whole act, that he does.
Yeah, that's awesome. But by the way, did they play only Awaken the Guardian because they just released a new album?
Yeah, it was just that lineup from the Awaken the Guardian. So they played songs. It was basically, George, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Fates Warning, and they kind of said featuring John Arch, even though it was the 5 guys from Awaken the Guardian, and they played only songs from the first 3 albums. So
Yeah, the new album it's another entity of Fates Warning. It's another lineup, and so
Well, John Arch wasn't going to sing any non-John Arch stuff, I think.
Right.
no, and you know what? I don't think anyone would want him to either.
I
on
wouldn't
top of
either.
that.
Yeah, neither would I.
Yeah, just like I don't have a problem if they don't sing any John Arch stuff with Ray Alders or singer. That's fine. I have no problem with that. So
yeah.
But you know what my highlight of your guys' prog power is that for once Buke had the upper hand when John could not say Ghost Ship Octavius. and
Octavarius.
yeah, and I could say it without issue, and John stumbled and slipped up and kept messing
Buke.
it up. So
Buke, I
Yes,
have to
buddy.
say that your pronunciation of the Finnish Shapes of Despair album.
Oh, the monotony.
yeah,
monotony.
Tony Fields.
Yeah. And I can assure you that there's 0% of people in Finland who will pronounce it monotony fields. It will be, and I think the band members as well are calling it monotony fields.
Really? Wow. So you are officially
You're a closet Finn.
Finland.
Well, I would,
You Finn.
It's got honorary citizenship to Finland.
I would be surprised. I would be really surprised if the band members were calling it monotony fields.
Wow.
Yes.
Buke's in tune with the band. Wow. We
That explains
stand
everything.
corrected.
Uke is finished. That explains it.
That's it all. That's it.
We
On
stand
honorary
corrected.
Finn
That's
today.
God. I wonder how many other things he's right about that we don't know. You know what I mean? He's like an idiot savant.
Yeah, we won't know his true genius until
He's one of
years
those.
after he's passed.
Buke was
Just
right.
get,
I'm gonna
get enough
first
beer in the
place.
system, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was saying epitome until George corrected me as well. So
But you guys get a pass, though.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly pronounce any Finnish words correctly. So.
Oh God, no.
You can pronounce Voivutumaulkanisa.
My mother was a saint. You take that back.
All right. Well, if you don't have any more questions, let's move on to the news. The most recent news, which was kind of a bummer, was that Bolt Thrower is finally calling it quits. Even though they haven't been active for a while, there was always that, that hope and the occasional interview question of, you guys working on material and things like that. But
George, they're both throwing the towel in.
yep, they're throwing the Bolt
Throwing the
towel
towel.
in.
Yeah.
They were getting ready to do a tour or a couple shows in Australia. I know that, and it's a shame because I'm somewhat of a latecomer to Bolt Thrower. Latecomer being I didn't listen to them back in the early days, but been a big fan recently. And even at Atlas, when one time when we brewed one of our Ponzi IPAs, we were listening to Bolt Thrower one day, and we actually put the date code on the bottom of the can, had the date and then Bolt Thrower on it. And I sent it via Twitter to Carl, the lead singer, and he was like off the charts. He was so happy, but he said that there wasn't really much of a chance of them coming back to the U.S. anytime soon, and now it's ever. So it's a little disappointing.
Well, their drummer was was their John Bonham. So they decided we can't go on without him, and you got to respect them for that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of good albums to hang on to anyway.
There you go. That's looking on the bright side.
Yep.
That's one of those bands for me, at least. That's always been a sort of a black spot that I've never like listened to them, and I should.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
you could easily have not though. That's a band that goes under a lot of radars. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually the whole news list for this episode is like my black spot. You chose,
well, then there's something for you to learn, right?
yeah, you chose all my black spots for the news feed.
But if you go back and listen to Bolt Throw, go listen to the song Kill Chain. It's awesome.
We are sort of annoyingly all-inclusive on this show. We basically everybody loves every type of metal here, so we're a little overeducated. So
yeah. So next up, Metallica's they just released a book called Back to the Front. We've been hearing about it. Jay's holding up his copy right now. It's a book that visually, for the most part, visually documents the Master of Puppets tour.
well, and verbally too. I mean,
I was going to say mostly, just because there's a lot of pictures, but there is definitely text.
I love this thing. I'm gonna cut you off, George. I'm sorry, but this is the kind of shit that I live for, man. First of all, this is like I think one of the greatest metal records of all time. No matter what you think of Metallica now, and you and I may think the same thing, but this thing is minute detail. But there's amazing stories in here. Cool stories about the Ozzy tour and stuff you didn't know. Cool things that happened, and then unfortunately, a very detailed description of the bus crash. The book actually starts with the bus crash and then goes back a year and tells the story, literally almost day by day, of Master of Puppets. I fucking love this, man.
I got a copy.
Author.
His name's Matt Taylor, and he approached them about this book, but he apparently did one that was very similar to this about the movie Jaws, and it was like this obsessive telling of Jaws and how it was made, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, if you're gonna do that to us, knock yourself out." It's amazing, man. This is one of the best metal books I've ever gotten. I love it.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
It's amazing. Plus, I don't know what it is, but I can just stare at pictures of these guys from that period. They were fucking cool at that time.
Well, since it's a book, I would take your advice. It's good, Jay, and I'll leave it at that.
But dude, there's lots of
But
pictures.
Puke has a lot of pictures, man.
Actually, Jay, we had today's recording session. We had Metallica as an inspiration. We had a picture from Ride the Lightning Time when they were really young.
Yeah.
In the wall, like a huge picture there.
And that's got to be
Staring at us. So yeah.
it's got to be back from that era. So, like, if you love that era, this book would probably be a treat for you. But
That's for our bass player and drummer mainly. They are huge Metallica fans.
Excellent.
I want to recommend this to metalheads out there. It was worth what was it, $30, George?
Something like that, yeah.
George has a copy too. Yeah, cool. I'm just really putting this is like one of my coolest purchases in a while.
Excellent. Next item, I'm just going to sort of zoom past unless anybody's got much to say about it. But Mickey D, now formerly of Motorhead, joined the Scorpions as their full-time drummer. So I'm glad to see that he's got something to keep him busy now that Motorhead's no more.
Yeah, he's the Dave Lombardo of commercial metal right now.
I think Dave Lombardo. I mean, I didn't know Dave Lombardo was playing with the Misfits.
Yeah,
We'll get to that later. But anyway.
Glad he found a home.
Yeah. We can skip the next one. We already talked about that, about Fate's Warning playing Awaken the Guardian.
Actually, is Mickey D Finnish?
No, he's Swedish, I think.
Oh, thank you. All right. Yeah. So I mean, everybody from Finland hates him. If I have learned properly here.
No, we love the Swedes, not in a gay way that they love us.
Oh, I think the first blow has been struck.
That was expertly done, sir. Nice. Not in the gay way that they love us.
It's not gay, it's in the tree way with Norway.
Yeah, they're sort of in the sandwich there.
That's it. I'm moving to Finland.
Back to that party. It's awesome.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we learned that Leonard Hayes, the original drummer for Y&T, has died at age 61. I didn't know him very well. I didn't even know his name, but I was a fan of Y&T, particularly their early albums. So it's sad to hear of his
George,
passing.
I don't think he's probably on any of the records you like. I think he was that original. But
Wow.
yeah, he might have been on the first one or two. But that's right here in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up, in the Bay Area. I was in San Francisco when Y&T first started, so I remember all those early records, and everyone loved them. And then Summertime Girls came out, and I was just like, "What in God's name is this?"
But believe it or not, John, I like that record.
Album. Oh God, it's worse than the Black Album. What was that, Jay?
Believe it or not, I actually like that record. There's some good songs. Sorry.
Yeah,
they played
get-
And a love bitch. Huh?
were they up there?
Yeah, Jay, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Black Tiger. Mean Streak. I'll stick with those.
John likes Y&T, but he's not gay for them like Jay.
exactly.
To use
anything wrong with that.
the Finland Sweden analogy.
Playing the Finnish insults to Jay. Fine.
Yeah, these were the newest parts where I was writing this like small notes on everything, and I have no idea. Of this.
No. This is what you have. No idea. Swedish gay joke. No idea. Pause for laughter.
All right. So, I think Will's had too much. When he gets that long laugh, you know he's had too much. Cut him off, John.
This joys me.
Yeah. So everybody was speculating why Izzy Stradlin wasn't part of the Guns N' Roses reunion.
You skipped one.
Yeah, overkill.
Oh, I did. Damn it. All right, well, I'm going to say this one now anyway, and I'll just go back since we already started it. So apparently Izzy says he wasn't on the tour because they didn't want to split the money equally, which seems to be a common problem these days.
Yeah, I wonder what's the problem.
Actually, you are paraphrasing. He wrote they didn't want to split the loot.
Yes, I did.
They're pirates.
Let's get it right, George.
Sorry.
You know, they were offering him
Plunder the world.
5 figures per show, so it's probably that means it was less than $99,000 a show, and it was per show that they were going to do it. And I'm the only record I like by them is the first one, and he's really important to that record, whether people realize that or not.
I always really liked him.
Oh, he's hugely important to that band in the early period, and they kind of dissed him, I thought. So I don't have a problem with them telling them to stick it. Basically,
I would too.
Good for Izzy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, so the one I skipped over is Overkill's new album called Grinding Wheel is tentatively due in November.
Aptly titled, I might say, because these guys are relentless with their releases, and they're all pretty similar, with all due respect. So, Grinding Wheel.
We could probably have a guess as to what it's going to sound like.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it sounding the same because it sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like the last few albums a lot. I thought a nice return to.
As far as the
Iron was probably the best of the last 3, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
the what's that?
We don't know what tentatively means with Andreas.
Say, what's that?
What tentative? What?
Oh, it means it's not carved in stone yet. It could change.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it may not come out in November. It may come out in
Yeah, they're just speculating, guessing at this point.
There is a little interview with Bobby Blotz or whatever. No, not his name.
Blitz.
I'm
Ellsworth.
sorry, Bobby Blitz. Man, that's like the guy from Rat.
That was Bobby Blotzer's from Rat. Yeah.
Anyway, boy, I feel bad about that. But anyway, and basically he was like, even him in the interview was like, it's a fucking Overkill record, dude. You know what I mean? He doesn't try to paste it up or anything.
Yeah.
The one thing I love about Overkill is they kind of remind me of Slayer. So if you look at the expanded Big 4 to the Big 6 to 8 or whatever, like Overkill has always put out consistent, good albums. Didn't slow down. Anthrax slowed down. Megadeth had a couple.
They had a few, more than a couple
shitty records. Metallica, obviously, for 15 years sucked.
Yeah,
but,
by the way, it's my metal influence, but is Overkill like thrash metal or?
Yes. So it's thrash.
I'd call it thrash. It's a little bit not quite thrash, but the people call them a thrash band.
But George, do you remember the episode where you were talking about the Big 8 of thrash or something? Big 10.
Yeah, I think the Big 4 should be expanded to include Overkill, Exodus, and Testament.
Did you exclude the German thrash?
I did because I think the German thrash are in a league of their own. You know, they have the trinity of Creator, Sodom, and
I think that's
Destruction.
Tectonic trash or something they call it.
Yeah, because I felt they were heavier than the American thrash.
I would easily throw out one of the Big 4 and put in Creator to put the Big 4 of thrash in worldwide thrash easily.
Yeah, I fucking love Creator.
Understandable.
Yeah.
God, I remember that. I very well remember hearing Endless Pain and then Pleasure to Kill. And I was just like, who the fuck are these guys? It was heavier than just about everything else that I had.
It was almost deathish black metal at that point.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, by that older stuff especially.
By the way, speaking of all episodes I've listened to, you were speaking about the prog guys like the High and Mighty, and that's us.
Little secret that us prog guys know. Everybody else in metal thinks we're the High and Mighty, and they do the same exact thing. You talk death metal with death guys. You talk black metal with black metal guys. It's all the same crap. It really is.
Everybody thinks they're the best.
Yeah,
really
we're just different in the way that we actually say that we're better than everyone.
Yeah, and
I think of you as the Star Trek fans that got beat up during the lunch period, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
No, and I love Prague, so I'm just fucking with you.
Hey Jay, I gotta say, George knows this, but Devin Townsend said something very funny during his
Prague fucking nerds.
Yeah, he started calling everyone prog fucking nerds, and then he just screams out before he starts his
Jazz
show.
hands?
He did prog nipples. He screamed out before he started his show. He screamed out, "I'd rather be a nerd than a fucking pussy." And the place literally went crazy when he said that. And then the curtains opened up, and he started up with a Bryan Adams song. So what do you expect?
Well, I just to show my true prog metal, though. I mean, which is to say MEDLE or whatever it is. Was a friend of mine is going to see Remnants of Yes here in the next. I think maybe it already happened, and I was really pissed I didn't buy a ticket when he told me they did like the whole first side of Tales from Topographic Oceans. So I'm a prog nerd just like everybody else. Right now there's only like two original guys.
No, there's nobody original. Hey Jay, there's no one original in the band anymore.
What about Steve Hackett?
Steve Howe came in on the third album.
Steve Howe. God, I'm getting every name wrong today. Steve Howe.
Yeah. He's the only classic member left. Yes, but that's it. Yeah, totally.
Nice drop of the word yes there.
Yes. Yeah. You see what I did? You saw what I did there, right?
You see what I did there.
John doesn't agree with me that the greatest Yes song ever is "Owner of a Lonely Heart."
Oh, jeez, here.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Fuck. Put that headphone fuck away.
Can we cut George out of podcast or something?
Yeah, I've been saying that forever. Thank you both. Yes.
Oh, you just made my day because he said that to my friend TR and I. We literally just looked at him like, "You're going to get your head cut off in like 3 seconds."
It's the only one I know.
Oh, yeah, that's hurtful. I'm going to take this one, George, even though you're probably more freaked about it than anybody else here. But Voivod, or as George pronounced it, Voivod, is working on a new concept album for Century Media. Now, first of all, is this their first record for Century Media? Where's the last stuff on there?
I think the EP thing, their single that they put out, I think that was on Century Media.
Right.
I thought they were actually getting ready to release a new album this year. So this announcement sort of threw me, but I'm like, whatever. I'm still happy that they're working on it.
We might still make this year. And also, by the way, never did follow up on doing an interview with
Away,
yeah.
Yeah, that's my bad, probably.
All right, I'm more excited about the next news story than anything.
Yeah, so we've been a few of us anyway, that are Misfits fans have been lamenting not being at the few reunion shows that they did. But according to Jerry Only, the guys would really like to continue a Misfits reunion. They'd even like to do an album, and he said that everybody's into it. So
I couldn't give a shit less about an album. I don't care, but God, I hope they go on tour.
Yeah, I would really like to see them. And I did not know that Dave Lombardo was playing drums with them because I was reading the little clip about it, and he was like, Jerry likes this, and Glenn is this, and Dave. And he said Dave, and I was like, I don't know who Dave is. And then I saw another article that said that Dave Lombardo was playing live with the Misfits. I'm like, that guy gets around.
Yeah, playing with Suicidal right now, too, who I'm about to see. By the way, I'm going to the Megadeth Suicidal Amon Amarth somebody else show here in the next week or two. There is Evan from Pile of Priests was at one of those shows.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe he was, and who was it? Well, somebody fucking went to that. One of our Facebook friends, and he was like, and he was all, it was fucking one of the greatest things he ever saw. So
yeah, Metal Chris was at that show from DC.
Maybe that's what it was.
He's out in Colorado.
He was out in Colorado. Yeah. He said it was unbelievable.
Everything he wanted it to be.
By the way, what is the best city for the gigs? Like, where does every big band go to?
America's huge, and so really, man, pretty much the coast, the city, most of the cities on the coasts, like, I'm in California, so San Francisco, LA, New York. I mean, we don't really have festivals here, like you guys do.
We've got Death Fest, but that kind of shit the bed.
Oh, okay.
So it's like not
mostly it's just like the big bands tour all around the coast.
Prague Power.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people play the middle of the country too, but like everybody's got a sports arenas, and if your band's not big enough for that, we've all got something like the Fillmore Theater is like a thing here on the coasts, and everybody's got some equivalent to the Fillmore. So it's like you're either playing for 1,500 people or 15,000.
That's really funny. You guys should say that because Prague Power is going on its 18th year as one of the longest running fests, and while it's a small one, they get some of the best names in metal. I mean, at least the not side of it,
Like Haken.
Well, no. I don't even consider them worthy of being there personally.
Is it?
Really
fuck
quickly.
Haken, fuck Haken, fuck
It is
Haken.
awesome.
Talk about Haken.
It is awesome to have guests join us that can throw shit and jokes back at us for they listen. I love it.
Yeah, I often wonder if when people listen, they think, boy, these guys do not like each other at all. Which I don't think they do.
I was laughing so hard. There's only 2 episodes I have laughed so hard. It was the last Prague Power episode, and then my all-time favorite episode was the part when you had one drunk guy on the show.
Matt. Drunk Matt.
Wait, is that Matt or Will?
It
Have
was
I
Matt.
told,
I said-
have I told you guys about this band Pagan's
I mean-
Mind? That's what Matt kept
Yeah, it
going
was
on and on about.
It was so. I have listened like almost 3 times that episode when I've been like playing PlayStation or something, just zoning out and listening, and it's so I crack up every time when he goes like, guys, like Opeth with Michael Ackerfeld.
Yeah. That's my favorite part too.
Yeah,
He's like got the heavy. Oh man, it's like the worst description of a band ever.
Yeah.
So, Testament released a lyric video for the title track for Brotherhood of the Snake. And I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with that.
I am too, but I'm officially starting the movement to stop the lyric video. I'm sick of those fucking things.
Yeah.
I agree. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. The song is great, super heavy, but it kind of has to trail off at the end a little bit, and I get a
But I
little
think-
disappointed at the end.
Yeah, I think Catatonia cracked the code with the typewriter thing because. But I'm serious. Actually, I think that was actually kind of cool.
was.
Without like.
creative. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do something with it, but you have to like think about it first and not make it karaoke. So.
Yeah.
Not just find somebody who knows how to use some presentation software. They're just fucking put some goats and stuff in it and big words. It'll be cool.
Goats.
Yeah, it's a metal thing.
Yeah, goats.
Well, not goats. Baphomet.
Baphomet goats.
Hey, why not throw a llama in there while you're at it?
Nah. All right. So Crowbar also premiered a new song. It's called Falling While Rising. And that was kind of good, too. No, I don't think it was as good as the Testament one, but...
I've never admitted this, but I don't care about Crowbar.
Well, fuck you, Jay.
Sorry about
I
that.
like Crowbar.
I know you do. I know you do, but I just don't. They just don't do anything
Hey, Jay,
for me.
I'm with you on that. I don't dislike them. I just don't get them.
Screw
Yeah,
you
so
guys.
We were thinking with Ansu
Going
that
home.
are you talking about the weapon in Half-Life or? Okay.
Actually, since you guys don't know him, would you like to slip a little Swedish gay joke in real quick?
Anyway, Suicidal Tendencies is also got a new album coming out called World Gone Mad, and they just released another song off of that actually called Happy Never After, which was pretty quick and short and sweet.
I didn't hear it yet, so I
I
can't.
was wondering, I listened to it, I was wondering, was it just a snippet of the song, or is that the whole song? Because it's probably like a minute long.
Yeah, well, I mean, they come from the punk roots, so
But they haven't touched it in years. So actually,
Yeah.
that gives me hope that they might move in that direction a little bit again. Because, I loved the 90s stuff. It was amazing. But it's still hard
Amazing.
huge.
You guys actually listen to this podcast, don't
to.
you?
They do, man. Yeah, I get called on that every time. But
I'm still waiting for the first.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because Björk is amazing.
No, he'll step on something here before too long.
Yeah.
But that first seminal record, they could
I
kind of just
need
revisit
some more
that.
drinks for that. So
What's that?
More drinks for the.
more drink.
Yeah.
But I love the song, the first song they released, "Clap Like Ozzy." It was
Yeah, cool.
like it was such a it was almost inside Metalhead joke song. It
Can
was
anybody
so
do
great.
that? I mean, I don't know, but I can I can picture
like
it. Do it.
It's like you have Down syndrome when you're clapping. Too soon? I don't know.
Ouch.
Oh, go with it, man. That was nailed it.
All right, moving on to
I'm
new
pretty
releases.
sure no one with Down syndrome is listening to this podcast.
New releases. Now, new releases. Okay. First one is a band that I didn't know was around anymore, and I guess maybe they didn't either because they haven't actually released anything for a while. It's a band Ancient, and their latest album, Back to the Land of the Dead. I haven't heard anything off this yet, so I can't comment, but I did like a little bit of their early albums, so I'm guessing nobody else listens to this.
That's a negative on my end.
No.
Okay, moving on.
I listen to Ancients, but not Ancient.
Yeah. Charred Walls of the Damned is also releasing Creatures Watching Over the Dead. We've been wondering about Ripper lately, so I haven't heard anything off of this yet either, so hopefully that'll be good.
I pre-ordered it, and I think the problem is that the leader of the band is Richard Christie, who's the drummer, who was in Ice Earth and Death, and he works for the Howard Stern show, so he has to record and do everything when the Howard Stern show goes on breaks. So I did pre-order it. I listened to a couple songs, and it sounds like Charred Walls of the Damned. Sounds good.
Excellent. I didn't know this next one was even, on the horizon, but Ghost just released a new EP called Pope Star. and they've been streaming the song. I think it's called Square Hammer.
Yeah,
It's
I bought
horrible.
No, it's
I
not.
bought
It's
the
good.
EP.
I like it.
Horrible.
I'm not a big fan.
I'm on the fence. The first one is like basic radio Ghost, but the rest one was I haven't decided yet. I have listened it.
This is
like
a fucking.
three times.
This is a pop album. These guys keep becoming more. Yeah, I know it's not
It's
true.
been like
this
that since
day
the
and
first
age.
album.
No, it isn't, George. That's crazy to say. These
Okay.
guys are just. These guys become more poppy with each song they release.
I think it goes back and forth. I think the first album was good, the second album was crap, third album was good, and this one seems like it's more of the poppy kind of. I think they're all over the place. I think that's the issue. They keep going back and forth between. I mean, no matter what, it's not. You could barely classify it as heavy metal, but it's not.
But sorry.
Are
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
talking about the Ghost?
Yeah. So Buke, do you think the whole EP is poppy?
No.
He hasn't listened to
But
it.
no, I listened to it. But
The whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But I think what they're putting out there to try and sell it is very poppy.
Yeah.
The first one is really poppy, and the last one is also quite poppy. But I think everything in between is again quite like
Ghost.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to my point: is that there's all over the place. One album's not as poppy, the next one is, and they keep going back and forth. And here you have a small EP. You have.
I remember when
everything.
I saw these guys live with Will earlier this year. I want to say, you look at the crowd. There's a lot of younger kids there. There's a lot of women in the crowd.
You know what? I hate to say this.
Blasphemy.
I don't think they are this way, but they have become a hot topic band. I mean, I
Yes.
think.
That's where I was going with what I was trying to say is that
I don't think it's their
Taking
fault.
Satan to the masses.
it's not even bringing Satan. It's that Slipknot's popular because Slipknot has their thing that they
Shtick.
do.
It's the perfect thing for angry,
It's just- this is just-
junior high kids to like.
This is just and you think I don't think people are latching on to the lyrics. It's that people are seeing the whole theater of it,
Yep.
and they're like, "Hey, this is something cool."
You know what? It's what the goth kids would be doing now if the goth kids were around. And they are probably still around. I don't fucking know,
But to be fair,
Their first album to where they're at now is nothing like where they're at now.
yeah, but Buke, to be fair, that has happened in the music history like times and times again when something has been popular, but then when you have like gone back to it after it has like died down,
Yeah.
it still has lived on. Led Zeppelin, for example, was hugely
True.
popular, and old like Pink Floyd was, I think, one of the most like celebrated like in those sort of like pothead party bands, but now you're looking back to it and it's actually really really tasteful. So
really good. Yeah. I mean, that's the irony is that the stuff becomes overblown and then you can forget how good some of it is at the core of it,
Did you hear
Incidentally,
about?
Jani, I meant to tell you guys didn't know the word tentative, right? Well, you might know it by the Finnish or Buke pronunciation, which is tentative. So, just kidding. Sorry. I meant to sneak that in earlier. I didn't have a chance. Excuse me.
So did you hear about? I only heard about this secondhand. My friend Josh was telling me about it. That somebody took the new Metallica song, "The Hardwired," and they remixed it with
bass?
the guitar tones from each of the different eras. Like
So hold on, you just stepped over Will's awesome joke there. That was awesome.
No. But I like where George is going with this because this is my biggest problem. This is one of the things I discovered recently. Go ahead.
And so they remixed it with a Kill 'Em All guitar sound and a Master of Puppets guitar sound. And each time they did that, it sounded like the song would have fit on that
actual
album.
good
Like
song.
if with the Kill 'Em All guitar sound, it sounded like it would have fit on Kill 'Em All.
I feel like it already kind of has the Kill 'Em All guitar sound a little bit. It's closer to that than anything else.
I think that's funny because people complain about how their songs have changed, and it's not necessarily based on this. It's more that their guitar tone has changed.
And
if you ask
George,
James, I don't like listening to him sing anymore.
Well, I would say this is I 100% agree with George, and I sort of agree with you, Jay. Is that yes, I can't stand James Hetfield's vocals anymore, but on this song, they're kind of back to where they were, and I almost think that we forget the way he used to sound. It's not like he was a very harsh vocalist to begin with, but the biggest thing that when I was listening to, and I did pre-order the album, which I've said before, is that it's the guitar tone. It's got this weird sort of guitar tone nowadays that if they just change their processor or change their amplifiers or a head or something like that, like the song Hardwire probably could be something that came out off. I would say probably Kill 'Em All is probably the best one that it may have came off of. But a lot
would
of
have been
it's actually the guitar tones.
But I think it would have been a B-side from Kill 'Em All. I mean,
yes.
just bear with
Yes,
me here. I mean,
granted,
I think Metallica is basically a corporation now. So, and a corporation is not a creative environment. They create products now, and that's really shitty of me to say that, but it's just we're never going to get that angry, young, fucking furious thing they used to do.
I agree.
You know,
By
with all
the
due
way-
respect, you know.
Yeah. By the way, back to Metallica tones. Like, have you heard? I think there was some Brazilian guys or something who did the whole Signed Anger album all over.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Recorded, and then I liked it a lot actually. And I actually like the
who did
songs
that?
too. So
I honestly have to say, dude, I'm one of the few people that thinks the songs on that record are not that bad.
yeah.
Hanging up on
A
Jay.
lot. It's a lot of it's the mixing. Mixing is horrific.
God, there's a song on there called "Dirty Window." It's such a fucking good song.
Hey, Andre. So, what Brazilian band or who in Brazil went back and remixed this or
It's on-
redid it?
No, I can't remember, but they didn't remix it. They played everything.
you can
from
find it on
start,
YouTube, Will.
Okay,
You
I'll
can
just have
find
to find
YouTube,
it.
but like they didn't remix. They played everything from the start, every song,
Yeah.
and the vocals and everything. So.
My fundamental problem though still is James. I mean, somewhere along the line he decided every word ends with yeah, you know, and it just fucking doesn't work for me anymore.
All right then.
So,
So I'm guessing that John's probably like chomping at the bit, going, "Come on, get on to the next one," because I know he
can't
wants to
ignore.
talk about it. Then the next new release is the new In the Woods album, Pure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys are.
yeah,
Yeah. Come with your hands. Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy. I don't know if you guys are In the Woods fans. I like In the Woods. I think they're kind of cool. First album in 17 years, and it dropped on Friday. I liked it. I mean, I have to give it some more spins to see what I really feel after I digest it, but I thought it was pretty good. I know, George, you had not issues, but the vocals weren't winning you over.
They were a little monotonous or monotonous. You know, he didn't vary it a lot. But I mean, the music on the new album is phenomenal.
I thought the music was great. Yeah. So I think it's just an album, but you have to.
It might be a grower.
Yeah, I think you have to give it a lot of spins.
Not a shower.
Yeah. Oh, it shows and it grows. So yeah, I liked it. I don't know if you got anyone else has listened to, but I thought it was pretty good.
Actually, we just started with Andreas to check out In the Woods.
okay.
We started with the Omnio album.
Yeah. Yanni recommended. that
yeah.
to
So
me,
you're
and I
fan-
bought
you're
it
fans
from,
then.
Like,
Well,
what the Google players.
well, it's not the most epic thing we have ever heard, but it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
maybe go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, Jay. I was just gonna describe it, but go ahead.
Only that I was going to say our fellows in Finland could maybe take this next new release.
Yeah, by all means, move on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm curious what Buke thinks of this one because I know he was listening to it. The new Insomnium album, Winter's Gate, which is just one 40-minute song.
Finnish, correct? These are Finnish fellas, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Buke.
This is exactly the Insomnium that I've come to like the past couple years. My only problem with this long album being one song, and I listened to this when I went down to visit my parents a couple weeks back, is when you hear those parts you really like, you're like, since it's one track, it's harder to go back. You got to fast forward and rewind trying to hear that part again.
Yeah.
But
You're like all in or nothing. Yeah.
yes, but if you like albums like we all do, where you like to just put an album on and just let it play, this is perfect for that because this album, since it's one solid track, it takes you on a journey because you just put it on and you just let it play.
Hey, Buke,
So,
that's
so
it.
awesome.
just to clarify, you have listened to the album.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So do they start with the same intro as the 7 last albums?
Ouch. You could also level that at Iron Maiden, by the way. Slow bass intro, song takes off, and with slow bass intro outro.
So is that a little bit of criticism we're hearing from Finland?
No. That sounded like a very pleasant, heartfelt remark.
Yeah, they're doing their mellow death thing. It's not ours. I think they actually might. I actually like some points of the albums, but they sort of blend together all the albums, with each other, and I can't really distinguish. I call it, with a few friends of mine, we call it like drinking metal, because it's like you can put it on and the double bass will kick in and epic melodies will kick in, and you can drink beer and you can forget about
You don't have to
everything
think
else.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
good
But
for you.
But the thing is though with this is that with it being one song for the whole album, it does just kind of just become this one mass.
Yeah.
Where when you listen to individual songs, those songs are so different. With this, you're not like, oh, that part at the 25-minute mark is so different than the 33-minute mark and then the 40-minute mark. It's just kind of nothing really stands out, but it's not bad.
I was wondering if that's why you guys didn't like the new Gorguts thing as much as I did, because that's like a 30-minute song.
I didn't like the new Gorguts because I thought the recording quality was just horrible on it.
Okay,
It
fair
was.
enough. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I would on these all new releases I would say something, but I only try to buy my music, and I'm not that rich, so I'm still buying the old albums I need to buy, and then there's new albums coming all the time. I can't keep up with those, so
Yeah, we're lucky we get a lot of promos from the record labels, so we get to hear a lot of different variety.
They want us to talk about them, so but and on the other hand, everybody on this podcast spends a lot of money on music.
Yeah, regardless of the free promos.
Yeah. And we are I think the man pretty much hardcore, and none of us steals music. You know, we buy our music or we get promos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, just to prove that point, Jay, I bought the Perihelion Ship album as digital when there was no CD, like a week after it came out, and lo and behold, the CD came out a couple months later, and I bought that too.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, those bastards. I don't know who these guys think they are, but they rooked me. But it's a pretty good album, though.
Yeah. And then vinyl will be forthcoming, and then the remaster. Yeah. Get your checkbook out, John.
Bastards.
Next up is an album that both Jay and I have been curious and wondering about when that was going to drop and what it's going to sound like, and that is the new Sog album, Memento Mori.
It's okay.
Yeah, I still haven't had a chance to listen to it.
It's all right. I mean, it's about it's kind of like the second one. It's for me, and I'd kind of told you this, George. For me, the first record was so good. I mean, really, I still listen to that record, and I've got all of them. But they just took a left turn somewhere, and they're kind of doing a different thing now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it's funny. We've been talking about Pink Floyd because there's a lot of weird Dark Side of the Moon elements on this record. So, but anyway, which does not jive with Sog if you know the first record and stuff. But it's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It won't make my year-end list.
Okay.
And then, but weirdly, man, this next one is probably going to be on my year-end list. Not weirdly, but it's just like, I don't know how big of fans people are here.
Really?
Yeah, and it's great, dude. At least what I've heard of it. I don't have the whole thing yet.
Interesting. Assuming you're talking about the new Trap Them album, Crown Feral?
It's fucking badass, dude. Everything I've heard off it, I love. And
props to Galen.
Neutrino. Yeah, tell Galen that I'm really into his new record. And he should send me a free copy because right now there's only like four songs available.
We've got the promos in the box.
Oh, it's in the box?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, dude. I've been listening every time they've released a new song because I was like, it's Galen's thing. I'll check it out. I fucking love it, dude. It's like a heavier, thrashier sort of ISIS type thing. I mean, meaning it's got a little post-metal to it, but it's good, dude.
Right on.
Yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. Really good record that I've heard.
That sounds actually really good.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. I mean, it's like hardcore meets metal, but it's more metal than hardcore. It's really good stuff.
I just saw a question go across my screen that went through the Skype Messenger that I thought maybe we should vocalize. And the question was, John, how did you hear about our album?
It's working now.
So I, like everyone else on the podcast, was on Bandcamp, and I saw the cover, and I was like, that's interesting. I'm going to have to check this out. And immediately, like Buke said, I heard that opening riff, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and put the earphones on and listen to this. And all the way from there. It was so literally, I caught it, I guess, about a week after it came out on Bandcamp.
Yeah, we love Bandcamp.
Bandcamp's our friend.
Yeah, I have to say that the opening riff of the first song, what's the first song again?
Misplaced Rainfall.
Yeah. So that
Long,
didn't
awkward
catch
pause.
me. It has a lot of the organs in there, but the opening riff of the Emperor's Idea,
Yes.
just those harsh vocals that open the song, that got me. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna.
Go ahead. It's actually kind of funny because we've gotten so mixed reviews. Like it's either that guys like you who like that sort of stuff like really much and like praise it, or then it's like that basically that it's OPEF. The whole review, the whole review reads like OPEF, and I would be inclined to agree with certain parts, especially in the first two songs. But then afterwards, as the song progresses and we sort of started to find our own style with Andreas, I think it sort of grows quite far away from Opeth, and we've had many friends who said that, for example, the last track doesn't sound anything like Opeth anymore.
You know what's interesting is that I'm not the biggest Opeth fan, unlike John and Buke, who are like rabid fans. But I do find myself liking a lot of Opeth style bands these days, like Perihelion Ship, like Wokon out of Georgia, like Wayfarer. There's a bunch of bands out there that sound a lot like Opeth that I absolutely love, including you guys. But I'm still not the biggest Opeth fan.
But Will, have you gone back and be honest? Have you listened to Blackwater Park?
Yes, I have.
Listened to Still Life and all those albums?
Yes, I have. And maybe because it sounds like a little bit more overproduced. I don't know. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I do like bands that sound a lot like Opeth, like the few I just rattled off.
So, with apologies,
I've noticed, like, is mic working, by the way? It's probably working, yeah.
But what were you saying, Andreas?
Yeah, I've noticed about there's a huge like trend. There's quite a lot of bands like doing the Deliverance style of Opeth riffing.
And if nothing else, that speaks so highly of them, dude. They are now at that point now where they've influenced a whole new generation of bands.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you guys heard the new one yet? I was meant to ask you a while ago.
Not the album, but the singles. Yeah.
No, the singles. Yeah, of course.
We've got it. That's one of the promos we got.
So.
Yeah, we've heard the whole thing.
Yeah,
oh man,
it's good. It's good. I actually like it better than the last two. We won't. I'll just tell you this. To me, there's like a really kick-ass Deep Purple element to this one.
Nice.
And the rockers are just fucking rockers, dude. That's a shitty way to put it, but
and the non-rockers are non-rockers, but I like those the most actually.
Yeah. And you were so right, George. Will o' the Wisp is so fucking Jethro Tull. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But not that I have a problem with that.
Yeah, it does have the nice songs of Come From the Wood type of like vocals.
Yes.
Yeah. And even the guitar part,
Yeah, and I a little bit maybe cringed when he did the sort of Ian Anderson kind of with his voice, Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
At least there's not a flute.
He doesn't have to do that because he's amazing vocalist anyways.
Yeah. But just to make one thing clear with the Opeth reference, that we're not really afraid with Andreas of admitting that we are really influenced by Opeth. It's not like it's not like we would be like we're so we have never heard of Opeth or anything. Of course we are influenced
we
by
just
them.
fucking love that stuff. I think that's like the best music I've heard since I've heard the Genesis.
And it's a compliment.
Albums.
I mean, there are worse things in the world that people say to you, wow, you guys fucking remind me of Opeth, dude, because they're an amazing fucking band.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny somehow at points when you read reviews or something that you might hear that someone, in other genres, for example, there might be a lot of like, wow, this sounds like At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul, or wow, this sounds like this and that. But then if it's with Opeth, it's always a little bit touchy, that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So just let me throw my 2 cents in real quick about your reviews, and then we can move on. I think you guys tend to blend your genres of the things that you like and that you want to play. So I was saying to George earlier, so if you're a metal fan, you love parts where you guys use the harsh vocals, and if you're a prog fan, you love the clean vocals. It's funny to think that I don't know too many bands that blend over so well on their first album like that. And if that's what you were talking about earlier with the reviews, that you were getting people like this or people don't like that, I think that's a good thing. I think people are talking about your music.
Yeah.
And it's from completely 2 different realms that have merged together over the last few years, I think you guys just hit it on the head. So to me, it's a good thing.
That's all. Yeah, and it's not like you're an Opeth fucking tribute band. I mean, it's its own thing.
I'll be honest, the third and fourth song on the album really remind me of even though it's a modern sound, I really feel like I'm listening to some 70s cool prog stuff. It's just,
absolutely.
There's some real nice guitar work and acoustic work in there, and you get heavy when you need to. I think you guys blend it really well, to be honest. So,
and I think,
thank you.
And to just further that compliment, that is a very Opethian thing to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean you sound like Opeth. What it really means is that you have similar influences, and I, you know what I mean. So you're your own thing, and I know you know that. But of course, people who review shit online are lazy as hell, as you know.
Look at it like this. It's not like you're a Van Halen influenced band and you're wearing like Steel Panther clothes, So look at it like that,
Steel Panther is awesome.
No.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes, Steel Panther is awesome.
I enjoy the occasional Steel Panther. Great lives.
Duke needs to move to Finland. I mean, that's like his fucking country over there, dude.
Sometimes I'm trying to grow the Mikael Åkerfeldt mustache, but I can't do it.
Make it look like a 1970s U.S. porn star.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
taking years of experience in trimming, right?
I'm going to move us on to the next.
We got one last new release.
Go for it, George.
That's the band Cerberus and their new album, The Regal Tribe. That's not actually going to be out until like next week, but it'll be out before we post this, so I thought I'd include it.
I think I have to correct you, George. I'm pretty sure that must be pronounced Usurpress.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's probably after.
I don't know. We should ask Buke.
Yeah.
Oosperus.
Unsurpassed.
Usurpress.
Yeah.
You know him, George?
I've listened to them a little bit, and I don't think I have a promo for this. I think I've just heard a couple of songs on Bandcamp, and it impressed me enough that I wanted to include it in here. But I still haven't had a chance to hear the whole thing. So,
What manner of thing is it?
it's kind of deathy, sludgy. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
You know.
I can dig that. We are now going to do the top 3 for this week. What are we doing, George?
We are doing the top 3 favorite metal bands from Finland.
Hot damn. That seems topical.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the Perihelion ship guys. You guys can figure out amongst yourselves who wants to go first, who wants to go second. Then we're going to move on to John, then Will, then Jay, then Buke, then me.
And start with your number 3.
Start with
Yeah,
your
I
number
think we
3 and
have
work your way to
very
1.
Yeah, I think we have a very similar taste here. Number 1, Winter Sun, of course.
No, start with your number 3.
Ah, fuck that. Oh,
You blew it!
always start with number 1.
No. You know what? They're on the other side of the world. Maybe that makes sense somehow.
Yeah, do your number 3, and then we'll all go around and do our 3s.
We're not professional actors like Hayden Christensen.
All right.
Okay.
So what's your number 3?
Number 3, I think it's Stratovarius for me.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
It's just so influential.
Yes.
And,
Probably be some more of those.
Awesome choice.
Okay.
it's just like all around, everyone loves them, and their music has influenced so many people. I was thinking about choosing Swallow the Sun here, maybe, but it's still so young band for that.
Yep.
Part B, so.
What did you think of that last record, that last group of records, The Swallow the Sun?
Too long.
Yeah, I
you.
heard it like twice now, and I liked it a lot. I think there's a lot of good material to go back to for me.
Yeah, George and I both liked it a lot. And I think maybe John liked it too.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
I think we all liked it, certainly.
Yeah.
And by the way, they would be my honorable mention too. I agree. I didn't put them on because they're just not that new. Moving on.
So my top 3 would be
Yeah, give us your number 3.
Ensiferum or Enska, as we say in Finland.
Really? Is that what is that the actual pronunciation, or is that some sort of in joke or something?
No, it's a nickname for them. It's
Oh, okay.
Enska. They're the band that spawned Jari Mäenpää.
I saw them not long ago.
I would probably say that they're the first band to introduce me to extreme metal, because I was listening to Iron Maiden and Megadeth and some Metallica and even some punk stuff like Ramones and Manowar, of course. And I think Ensiferum was the first band with like screaming and like extreme metal stuff. But I would have to say an honorable mention, which I had to fight off from here, is George's favorite, Sentenced.
Woohoo!
Oh, you'll be hearing that a couple of times, I feel sure.
Because we really loved that band with my friend when we were listening to a lot of music on my summer place, and but it never it sort of got stuck in my younger years. I still like it, but I never carried it with me from those times. So and Ensiferum I still put on Iron or the debut album at times. So.
Even though we're kind of doing this top 3, I'm sure, in honor of you fellas, I honestly feel like George chose it just to say sentenced again. Just anytime he can say sentenced on the show.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about asking you about Sentenced earlier, but then I decided to wait and save it for here. Are they?
And here it comes.
Do people like them around there? Are they popular in Finland?
They're kind of a legend because the guy died in the band,
Mika,
and
or however you say it.
Yeah, Mika, and my friend was at the farewell gig.
Oh, cool.
Up in Oulu, which is sort of the most central part of Finland, and Yeah, they're kind of they're not mainstream, but they're probably the biggest like legend in the sort of like underground heavy metal scene. Yeah.
Old school.
It's too bad they're not going to be on my list.
They go, fuck off. You're so full of shit. Will, what's your number 3?
Skip John.
Or John. I'm sorry, John.
That's all right. All right, so I'll be the first guy to say it. I have a ton of honorable mentions, but we'll just pick one honorable mention on the list just because they're here, and they wouldn't say it themselves, but I'll put Perihelion ship on my honorable mention list.
Bravo.
I treated my list a little different. I kind of went with some new bands on mine just because I'm listening to them a lot, but my number 3 is a band called Pressure Points.
Ah, yes.
Maybe you heard of them, maybe you haven't.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
We checked
A lot
out.
of people love it too.
Thanks to you, we checked them out.
Oh, yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think this was progressivemusicplanet.com. I checked them out.
No, I actually heard them from this podcast.
Ah, you heard? Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
excellent.
heard of them through that.
Cool.
All right, I have my 3. They're not in any particular order whatsoever. My one caveat is because we are on with Perihelion ship, I did not include you guys, but I do love it. So I will just say it's not my number 3, but my top 3. Amorphous.
Okay.
Nice.
Taking it.
Yeah, good.
Jay.
Number 3, somebody's got to say it, and I don't mind being the one to do it. You could even call it bubblegum if you want, but it's Children of Bodom. I really think they've had some good records, so yeah, I got to give them. They got to be on somebody's list.
They're actually kind of an interesting band in the sense that that they split the fan base so hard because
Yep, sure.
There's the guys like me who like the first 2 albums, maybe even the third one, and really dislike them after that. And then there's the guys who tolerate the early stuff and really like the more, how would you say it,
Mainstream.
a little bit commercial stuff. And then there's also the guys who think that, well, there's this group of guys that think that, which I guess I'm a little bit as well, that they're really so skilled and so like technical players that just for the sake of that,
He's a real interesting guitar player though too. I mean, he's interesting to listen to. He's not just twiddly widdly all over the place. I like his solos, and I have to say, I think I was there more than anybody else on the pod. I thought the last record was actually pretty good.
I didn't listen that much. By the way, you were speaking about Children of Bodom on one pod, and you were wrong about one thing. Alexi is actually doing both lead vocals and lead guitars in that band at the same time, which is kind of crazy because he's playing the lead melodies while he's singing, which is kind of
That's crazy. That's amazing. Yeah.
All right, cool. You guys can correct us on all our Finnish mistakes.
Yeah.
Nice
Or
to have
any
an expert in the
mistakes.
house. Yeah, for that matter.
I feel like this is like an annual job review of what we've been doing.
Well, I feel like we should start making sure we're getting people in from other countries, and they can say, "Let me tell you what you got wrong about France." You know what I mean? That brings us to Buke.
I'm going to be the only one here on this ledge. My little power metal self. Sonata Arctica, my number 3.
Yeah.
I should have almost mentioned that as an honorable mention. But
I know you guys aren't power metal guys, but I am, and they're one of my favorites.
Actually, we are. We love.
Actually, we
No,
are.
I know I'm not. I can't speak for you guys, but my podcast cohorts here. So
Yeah, never listened to power metal. Didn't go to prog power.
just
he
because you
does-
went to prog power doesn't make you a power metal fan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
George is
Just
like a
because I
dog.
went to Death Fest doesn't mean I like black metal.
Yeah, but just to clarify, we really like some power metal with Andreas. I think that's such a difficult genre because there's so much stuff and so much of it sounds exactly the same, and it's hard to wade through it. But when you really find those gems that are really speaking to you, then it's fantastic.
Anybody who's hearing this, if you've not checked out Sonata Arctica and you like power metal, I recommend their 2001 release Silence, and then their 2004 release Reckoning Night. Both great albums.
Yeah, the early albums in general. Yeah.
All right. I want to ask you about my honorable mention, the band called Stone. You guys know them?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Jeez,
It's
hold
one
on.
of those
Hold on, guys. Don't
underground type of.
Don't let
that
George
you're
wrong
legend
arm you
about.
into saying
And
something.
you haven't
know?
checked about
You say they suck. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We do.
George
In
is,
Finland,
Shut up and let them talk. I can't hear them.
George
It's
is
actually
pointing a knife
pronounced-
to the camera. You better say something about Stone, guys.
I'm sorry. If they're done talking now, could you answer that?
the correct pronunciation is Stone.
Are you kidding me?
I'm pretty sure they're making that up. If they're not,
All right. Well, anyway, that's my honorable mention. My number 3 is Winter Sun.
Yeah,
There you go.
that brings us back around to the top.
That might be a good choice.
Might be.
It's somebody's number 1.
Yeah.
I'm just
No, it's not.
put that money on it.
Well,
It's going all according to the
Sorry
plan.
about that. Number 2 for me. I think Moon Sorrow easily. Yeah.
Cool.
Like so many good releases.
I'm sure Trevor is with you on that one. Our friend Trevor.
All right.
Keep it going.
Yeah, mine is also Moon Sorrow. It's I actually think that it's so much better than it's actually a really, really good band from Finland. It's if I would list my like top 5 or top 10 metal bands of like all time, Moon Sorrow would make it quite high because I really love. I haven't really gotten around to listening to the newer stuff, but I'm still like so hooked on the older stuff, so it doesn't really matter.
The new one's great, by the way.
Yeah, it
The
is.
new one that came out this year.
I heard so. Yeah, but I haven't because I don't like streaming music, sort of like just checking it out, and forgetting it. So I just want to buy the vinyl or the digital, and really sit down with it. So
Yeah, have it in
You
your
said a
hand.
magic word there, vinyl.
John.
Okay, I'm going to expect the guys to correct my pronunciation. I know Jay is probably in the same camp in terms of liking this band. I don't know if you put him as top 3, but please correct me on the pronunciation of this band. And that is Aranti Pazuzu. I absolutely love these guys. I like the whole
forgot they were there.
psychedelic thing they're doing. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, is that? I think
That's
Pazuzu
nice.
you have right.
May I counter John with this and say, gentlemen, keep doing what you're doing, but if you stop singing in English, you'll lose me as a fan.
He will not listen to it if it's not in English.
Of course, he understands every word you're saying when you're doing the harsh vocals, but nonetheless.
by the way, just
We can translate it
singing
too.
in
We can
Finnish
like
and just
sing. I can sing the next album when we're doing in Finnish, and I can like separately sing it for you.
Yeah.
Just
Yanni can write the lyrics.
Special Buke version.
Just sing in Finnish and put the lyrics in English, and no one will know the difference, and Buke will not know the difference either.
Yeah, Andreas will call me. So I want these lyrics that when you are playing it forward, it's in Finnish, and when you're playing it backwards, it's in English.
Actually, I think that's how Finnish records work already. You don't have to do anything to it. You play them backwards; they're in English. What the fuck?
All right, so my number 2 is Swallow the Sun.
Nice.
All right,
Awesome.
good one. I'll be honest with you, John. I didn't know Aranti Pazuzu was from Finland, so they have to go into my honorable mention. And I also wrote this down 2 days ago, so it's just a coincidence that I'm in with the Perihelion ship guys. Moon Sorrow is my number 2.
Right on.
Buke.
Amorphous, number 2. Skyforger is still one of my top albums of all time. They maintain such a high level of fandom with me. So pretty simple, Amorphous.
Cool. My number 2 is Swallow the Sun.
Nice. Yeah, sorry about the number 1 because I think it's a kind of an inside joke for us because like when we're talking about like metal, it's always Winter Sun, yeah, and you can cut it out if you want to make this show much better, but it's kind of like an inside joke for us, Winter Sun thing. So of course, yeah, number 1. So
All right.
George, it's actually pronounced Swallow the Suna.
Yes. I'm never gonna be able to be sure of anything again. All right, who's up next?
I forgot it was Andreas.
Yeah, I was after, and it's Winter Sun for me as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
but it was more of a
because-
surprise. So
Well, the first Winter Sun album for me is up there with Opeth Still Life and Edge of Sanity Crimson because it's I don't know, he's been overproducing the stuff now and trying to make everything work, and he's kind of his own worst enemy in the sense that he's like
Sure.
He has a battle against himself, but the first album is it's just flawless. It's there's so many like fantastic tracks in there, and sometimes you might like find riffs that are absolutely stunning, but because you just haven't noticed them because the riffs earlier were so good, and you just keep coming. I just keep coming back to that album from time to time again. So I hope that he will get his shit together now and
Cool.
go ahead.
All right,
My
John.
number 1. Don't even need to go in any description. Amorphous is my number 1.
Okay, Will.
I'll take some flack for this, but I just love all the songs about drinking. Corporate Clanny.
I thought you were going to
Pronunciation, please, from the judges.
That's actually interesting, and you pronounced very well.
Korpiklaani.
Korpiklaani. Yeah, I just like being a brewer and enjoying my beer. I just like how fun it is.
I like them.
Yeah, I've heard from my Korpiklaani authority that their newer stuff sucks, but that the old stuff is fantastic. So, but I never.
I know the older stuff, so it's fun.
I saw them with it was a tour here in America last year. Ensiferum, Korpiklaani, and the Almighty Trollfest, who I fucking love. So it was a great show. My number one is Amorphous. Doesn't need any description, as John said.
Okay.
I probably should have, or we both probably should have named Amorphous as the honorable mention with Andreas. But to be honest, we've never really gotten into them that much. They're like singles play on the radio all the time, and you get really jaded. Yeah, you get really jaded with those singles. And well, I checked out the Under the Red Cloud when it came out, and were some really cool tracks in there. But it's never been like mind blowing to me. But I really understand the legacy and
there's a record. There's a song on that record called "The Skull" that was like one of my favorite songs last year. I loved. I thought Under the Red Cloud was great.
Well, there's a difference between two countries. You guys are hearing Amorphous on the radio.
Yeah.
You would never hear the
and I'll
radio
just
here.
leave it at that.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and do George and Bukes for both of them.
No, you don't think you should.
I won't.
Why not?
Buke, what's yours?
Rhymes with Pentance.
Sentenced.
Right here, Sentence. One of the first early bands George introduced me to. And you know what? We do a heavy metal podcast, and by no means is this band at times a real heavy band, but some of the
North from here.
But some of the heaviest, saddest lyric that you can get. So, Sentenced. One of my favorite bands of all time, and definitely my favorite Finnish band of all time.
Awesome. My number one is Him.
What?
Just kidding. God.
Wait. This is what was that?
Just
band?
kidding. It's sentenced.
No, it's not.
We did a Death Heaven thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That was it. Nobody bought it though. Everybody was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably easily top 10 bands of all time, possibly top 5.
Awesome. When did you discover it anyway? So because
I found Down. I was running through Tower Records, just flipping through CDs in what was that, like 97, and it was one of those days where I couldn't find anything that I'd heard of, and I saw them, and I was like, well, the Down album cover's just kind of plain, but the logo was,
it's a leaf.
Yeah, but it looked like a metal album. It was on Century Media, so I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And I got that album home, and I was like, whoa, what did I just stumble into? And obviously, that's the first album with the new singer whose name I'm not going to butcher in your presence. And the earlier albums were a little bit different, but from then on, they were definitely one of my favorite bands. How do you say his name?
What was his name again?
Ville.
He was trying to make you say it.
Yeah, right, Ville. Yeah.
Ville.
Also the lead singer of Him. I'm pretty sure, George, your other favorite band.
Yes,
so.
yes.
Yeah.
Could you say it again?
Ville.
Villa?
Ville.
All right. Yeah, I'm never going to get it.
It's just like you with your Norwegian brother-in-law.
I am very thankful that when I was introduced to Sentenced, it was right when the Cold White Light was coming out, so I was able to experience them. I bought the Funeral album, and I still to this day probably watch their final DVD show every single day. I'm sorry, not every day, but every single month. I probably throw it on once or twice. Yeah. These guys are one of my favorite bands, and anybody who has not checked them out, go check out the Cold White Light. This album here, I have them holding up. Of course, you can't see it. Crimson. Awesome.
Finally reissued on vinyl.
Awesome stuff.
That's one of those bands for me that I have to really get into because it's so much hype and everything. So.
And if you like what you hear with Sentenced, Villa's going on to do Poison Black
and his new band
right now.
Yeah, I think Sentenced is one of those rare bands in Finland that has a sort of really traditional fan that you can even recognize the fans from their hair and their clothing, and that there's this certain kind of Sentenced fan, really dedicated one. With other bands, it's not so much. It's maybe just a metalhead, in sorts of all sorts of metal, but Sentence, there's sort of this, like, it grew this sort of
cult,
certain kind of kind of cult, and I know some of those people, and they love them just as much as you do, and as I said, I really loved them when I was younger, but then sort of maybe because of the 70s prog stuff, I don't know, it's sort of I have to say I also, just to get a reference, I also quit listening to Iron Maiden for some time, so.
No, but that's irrelevant. Actually, I thought you were going to pick somebody like Priest or somebody to do. Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying. I mean, they're a foundational band. I think like George and Buki, there are those people that find something deeper there, no question about it. But they are sort of foundational band. There you go. But since they're kind of culty, there's a little extra something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like not everybody knows them and listens to them, but a lot of the people that do are pretty fanatical.
Yeah. I'll buy that. Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to what we're listening to.
Really quick, I'm sorry. Before we move on to that, I want to go on what you guys just said. It's cool. The thing I guess what I like about Sentence so much is George and I, as many shows as him and I go to, we mention Sentence and people kind of look at us like a deer in the headlights. Sentence is kind of like George and I's thing. Like we can really share it as ours because not this whole gathering of people like it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see them live or something? Did they ever come to USA?
They did. We saw them once.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's kind of the same with me and Andreas about Agalo in the States, because it's kind of an underground thing to maybe a lot bigger in that sense, but
no, they're not huge here. They
popular, but
actually I think it's a pretty relevant comparison though, because people tend to really be fucking into them like hardcore when they are into them.
Yeah.
It's like their number one band, and stuff. But they're relatively obscure here. They just broke up.
They did.
Yeah.
Did you guys know they broke up?
Yeah, it was a sad moment.
Yeah, but it's just cool that my best friend and I can share this little thing that really nobody else is on board with.
It's a little thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweetie.
Next, what are we listening to?
What are we listening to?
Start with you fellas.
Yep.
I was okay. Yeah, I really got into Primordial, The Nameless Death, or is it for The Nameless Death? I don't know. I fucking love that album. Oh my god. I have never heard of them before, like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Which Primordial album?
To the
Nameless Death, I think.
Yeah.
Is the name.
Yes.
It's just amazing, mind-blowing stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so fun to hear somebody else get nailed
and
that
also
for
I've been
that
still listening to the Vector release. It's my favorite for this year. So
right on.
Should I go next?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're going to keep the same order when we go through these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still listening to Vector Terminal Redux.
Nice.
I actually think it will be my top one for this year, and I actually think that it will be like the best metal album since Agala Marrow of the Spirit since 2010.
Wow. That's
me.
a statement.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if something would top this. It's the reason why it's such a difficult album is because it's so long and there's so much information in it. The concept lyrics are so in depth and it's so difficult. And at first I only liked a few songs, but then over time I just kept coming back, and now I love almost everything about it. So it's a fantastic record.
Can I tell you about a band called Throssenblot?
Yeah, I've listened to that. We both listened to the interviews, and I think Andreas has listened to the album. I haven't, because
I listened to the Metactonia album. Mm-hmm. It's I haven't got into it yet. It's good stuff.
Okay,
obviously.
George, just
more.
Which I think a lot of people feel about that one. But George, just so you know, I have my friend John in Houston. Hey, John, how's it going? He listens to the show. He is freaked out on it right now.
Excellent.
Yeah, he can't get it out of his MP3 player or whatever it is he's listening to, but he said he's just stuck on it.
I just want to give a fuck y'all to you guys that were making fun of me, because I talked to Joel the other day after he listened to the mid-year episode, and he was like, yeah, you were so spot on with all of that, so fuck you guys.
So the guy who is the leader of the band is saying, fuck y'all, yeah, you're on to it. the person
Yeah,
who
you're
put
right,
it as
it's
their number
clear.
one,
Yeah.
right?
No, but he said that I was on the stuff I was saying was what he was thinking when he wrote it. So
George's interpretation of the album was
exactly, which you were making fun of. So
yes, absolutely,
hey,
and we'll
George.
continue to make fun of.
yeah, well, at this point I don't care because he liked it. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care what you guys think.
yeah. No,
Did he
rock
say
it.
that before or after you bought that guitar he put up for sale?
Did
He
you
didn't
buy the
really.
guitar?
He didn't. No.
buy-
Just a question. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. What's up?
Just a question for this. Are we going around again, or should I list everything I'm listening to?
Yeah,
right
go
now?
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Do it. Yeah. These we do them all.
Yeah. Well, Pink Floyd, I seem to be always listening to. So
What's your
some
favorite
of their metal, I think.
Oh, okay, interesting choice. Because I'm a big fan, by the way. So
Yeah, cool. I would. Many people like Animals. Of course, Wish You Were Here is fantastic. Dark Side of the Moon is fantastic, even though maybe a bit overrated, but it's still great. But metal is the one that I'm just coming back to because of the last track, Echoes, and it's it's a sort of crazy track that I don't need drugs to transcend to some higher plane.
actually, believe it or not, man, of that era, Amagama is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, I need to go to that album more. I haven't because I've listened now a lot to the music from More, which is the film soundtrack one.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
cool too, though.
How do you feel
Yeah.
about Momentary Lapse of Reason?
That's the newer one, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
it's one of the
non-Roger.
Yeah. I've always tried to go like backwards with those guys, and I need to check out the newer stuff at some point.
No, you don't. You really don't.
I like it.
I
my
a
favorite
little
one.
point of pride with me. I took room service to Roger Waters one time. That's it.
Oh, nice.
My whole story. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. It's not like we had an in-depth chat or anything like that, but it was
Did
just
he
kind of
spit
cool.
on you or something?
Did you work at a hotel or something? Like
No, Will. I just.
escort service? Like what does that mean?
No, I worked at a really nice hotel, and to be honest with you, I wasn't doing room service that day. And my friend was like, "He just fucking ordered, dude," and I was like, "You got to take me with you." So we told him. So we got up there, and he goes, "Like, yeah, my buddy here is training today. You know what I mean? Well, whatever." He was there with his with his hot wife. That was it. But
Yeah, you gave
was
him
it-
a
I mean, it was a big
momentary
moment.
lapse of reason.
Yeah.
wow, full circle, nicely done, sir.
And
go ahead.
then I'm listening to so much. So sorry if this is going to be too long of a list. Just cut me out.
No, hold on. Let's cue up a dope smoker while you do this because that's what we do with George.
I limit myself now.
Yeah, right. The cricket. Yeah.
I love he listens to the show. He knows all the jokes.
So what else you got?
Yeah. Witherscape, Northern Sanctuary.
Oh yeah, I love that album.
The production is fantastic. I love the old Dance Swanner stuff, but I'm kind of on a fence with this. I really would like to love it, but then again, there's so many like cheesy bits. If I'm honest, it's and this might sound a little bit crazy. Don't take me the wrong way here, but at times it sounds like a little bit like Nickelback.
Oh God,
Yeah, I have to listen to it because I want to hear that.
that is my ultimate insult that I use.
Yeah, but that's just for like 10 seconds or something. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I might be totally wrong and get my head out of my ass. And then Edge of Sanity Crimson is always what I'm playing. Ahab Divinity of Oceans.
right.
I have actually, just because I used to play that with a certain video game all the time. Then Ghost Popestar was the new one I'm listening to. Then Warlord Deliver Us is the 80s epic metal.
1983, Metal Blade Records.
Yeah, exactly. The sort of I like to call it Spinal Tap metal because it's so like over the top for its time, and but I really love it because they have this sort of like their own thing going on. Manowar had sort of like seminal records probably or Manila Road, but there's a lot of these gems to find.
Wow,
in that.
Manila Road does not come up enough on this podcast, man. I'm a big Manila Road fan. Good for you. Do you have a lot of them, or
No, No, I actually just listened to the Crystal Logic. I've sort of tried
That's
to.
probably the best one.
Yeah, just to get the sort of like
I
biggest
picked it up
records.
too, like a couple of months ago, and I have to.
They're still
listen
around, by the way.
some more.
Yeah,
they're
they have
still-
like 1 million records or something.
They do.
Right.
But you can kind of put your hands down almost anywhere in that collection and come up with something pretty good. I mean, they're pretty consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have Psy, the Japanese avant-garde black metal band, Gallows Gallery. The Imaginary Soniscapes album is probably my top 3 metal albums of all time, or top 5.
Cool.
But I have tried to get into this Gallows Gallery, but the production is just so awful that there's some there's some really good songs in there, but the production just ruins it. I would hope that they would like record it again or something. Then Cynic Traced in Air is something that always is playing for me, and of course Opeth Still Life, but that probably doesn't need to be said. And same with the first Winter Sun album. So I'm out.
Cool.
You can say Opus Still Life as much as you want because that's my favorite album of all time. So you can keep.
Yeah, I
listening.
think it's like for the most like prog guys, it's the album.
It's the best metal album.
Of course, Ghost Rider is amazing, but it's still like
And Blackwater
Still
Park
Life.
as well. but-
Still Life captures the essence of the 70s so much.
So you hear that, Buke? Still Life, not Ghost Reveries.
No, Still Life is great. Godhead's Lament's my favorite Opeth song. I just don't think it's their best one.
Yeah, I know. I'm
do
just
too,
having
yeah.
fun with you.
All right, John, what are you listening to?
I'll keep it short. It's all new releases that came out within the last week or so. Devin Townsend, Transcendence. We just saw him at Prog Power, and he featured some of the new songs off the album, and I'm liking the new album a lot. In the Woods, Pure. And then another one that I'm not hearing many people, I think, George, you listened to it, but a band called Summerlands. They're self-titled that just came out, which is kind of a harken back to the mid to late 80s, kind of just straight ahead hard rock, heavy metal sound. It's cool stuff. So.
It's definitely a very particular sound.
Yeah, and for those of us who lived that period can kind of remember that. I wouldn't call it Queensryche, but they're kind of in that vein, maybe like 5% a little bit. It's a nice metal sound that hasn't been done in a very long time.
Yeah.
But it sounds new, though. It doesn't sound like it's a rehash.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Will?
I got Hellbringer, Awaken from the Abyss. If you like old school early Slayer, these guys are nailing it. I got the new Skeleton Witch, The Apocalypse Bloom.
I missed that, Will. Which was the old school Slayer one?
Hellbringer, Awaken from the Abyss.
It's so good, dude. It's Hell Awaits era Slayer, and it's fucking great.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome.
I knew you would like it because when I heard it, it reminded me of Gruesome, as you know, where death is concerned. And I thought, I don't remember if I guess I didn't tell you about it, but yeah, that's a fucking great record, dude. Sorry.
Yeah. This will definitely be in my top 5, maybe my top 2. Eerie, self-titled Eerie.
I haven't heard it yet.
It is awesome. It is it's kind of like, it's weird because the album cover looks like a death metal cover, but it's definitely like a doom sort of 70s era mixture with some death metal. It's phenomenal. Got Russian Circles Guidance. My brewery Atlas, we teamed up with DC Brow and we made a beer for Russian Circles when they come to the Rock and Roll Hotel.
Nice.
So everyone, George, Buke, and John.
Isn't
come
it
to Rock
fucking
and Roll.
crazy that all these other bands get shit before the podcast gets a beer? How crazy is that?
I know, isn't it crazy?
It's been fucking going on for 2 years now. This is
I know.
nuts.
You know what? But that attitude will keep going on for no more 2 years. So,
like clockwork, I expected that response.
yeah.
You just set us back, Buke. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah. You like that? How about another 2 years? Say it again.
No beer for you.
Those are for you. Slowmatics, Future Echo Returns, Blood Incantation, Star Spawn.
Fucking
That
love
is
that
good.
album so
That's going to
much.
be in my top.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Top something.
Old school.
And then
death metal.
I think Gregory, our number one fan on the podcast, Obed Marsh, Innsmouth, he turned me on to that, and I'm kind of digging that. So that's my and a lot of my what am I listening to is also my vinyl purchases /
CDs.
downloads. I have a few other ones I've downloaded, but I'll save them for later. So All right, Jay.
Okay, here we go. New Opeth. Been listening to that, enjoying it. That's the album that's maybe bringing me back into their crowd a little bit. I think this one got by me, and I think some other guys on the pod liked it, but I hadn't really listened to that Necronautical album. That's pretty good. The new Skeleton Witch EP is good. I think I said Skeleton Witch last time, but I'll probably put that on at least once a day. And while I admit I was partially getting ready for the podcast with this, I enjoyed it very much and have been listening to Perihelion ship all week.
Right.
I will also say I've been listening to a lot of that, just getting ready for the podcast as well. And my kids have been listening to it a lot as well.
Yeah, and having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
That's my list.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, still life. Wow.
Buke, I'm gonna make you listen to that all the way up to New York, brother.
No, that's again amazing album. Moonlapse, Vertigo, Godhead's Lament, Face of Melinda. It's an amazing album, but it's not Ghost Reveries.
I know it's better.
I agree. I have to agree. I agree on that, dude.
Which
what
one?
I have been listening to again, the Blood Incantation has been amazing album. Our friend
that
Trevor from Ashen Horde, his album, the Kickstarter was successful. The vinyl was released for 9 Plagues, so I was spinning that. I found a band. It was a power metal band by the name Expired Utopia.
Yeah, you told me about them. They're good.
I told George about these guys. They're a power metal band from Winnipeg. They're releasing an EP of three tracks. Think of power metal with like Blind Guardian, sorry, not Blind Guardian, with Iced Earth. Matt Barlow, kind of harsher vocals. Really cool stuff. I've been listening to a band, I'm going to butcher this, Cogniziance, COGNIZANCE.
Cognizance.
That's ironic. Very ironic title to not get there, Buke.
You know what? I love when I butcher it, and then I realize how fucking simple of a word it is.
Oh, that's a word I know.
That's a word I know. That's how you say that word. Okay.
Hey, you know what? That's the archivist.
Yeah.
So Cognizance by, that's the band's name. Illusory is the album title. Just a classic death metal sound, which absolutely I sound like an idiot retard right now.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
For all my prog guys out there, a wonderful prog band from Italy named Astral Path.
I liked that one too.
Saw that.
And their album,
Actually,
Ashes Dancer.
Okay,
Good-
have to
good
pick it
stuff.
up.
Have to
It's
check
like
it out.
typical Italo prog, or is it like more heavy? Or?
No, think of Italy, Prague, like Opeth, but some Between the Buried and Me. Great stuff. I'm one of a couple people who have bought the album on Bandcamp, but it's absolutely wonderful. Again,
You-
Astral
again.
Path.
I write it down.
Between the Buried and Me is the band that shall not be named.
Uh-oh.
With me and Andreas.
Reason?
No, I respect them. I cannot get into them because of
true.
vocals. But
Yeah,
it's like
we respect them, but we
musicianship
don't
is
like their
awesome.
music. Yeah.
It's hard to get
I'm not
into.
a big fan either.
You guys know I'm going to be haunted by fucking Cognizance right now.
No, you're not. You know what, Buke? You're not stupid. You're Finnish.
Wait,
Pronounce everything their way.
Wait,
I think that just insulted the entire country of Finland.
I might have.
Just cut,
But
just cut
it's a
that
chance
out.
I'm willing to take.
Cut off Jay's mic. Get him off Skype. Wow.
No. I'm saying he pronounces things like they pronounce them in Finland. He fits in there.
That's so bad.
You know what? I need.
my God.
Yeah, what are you doing, Jay?
I'm leaving
These
that
are our
in.
guests.
I stand by my remark.
All right.
And I have been listening to a lot of Sorceress by Opeth right now. So
And Buke, you love the album too,
Italian
right?
band again.
I love the new Opeth. I will save my discussion because we've been going a little long here. Hopefully, John will join us next episode and we can go into it more. But
It's not really out either,
how
so.
I felt Opeth found their groove with their death metal sound a couple albums into their history around My Arms Your Hearse. I think they found their prog sound a couple albums after Watershed with this one. So I'm loving Sorceress.
Buke, I'm not surprised you like it as much as you do, though, because if it has, I think its spiritual brother is Ghost Reveries.
Yeah, you know what? I was telling John this the other day. I think this is actually a perfect Deliverance Damnation, just in the prog sense. I think you see the both sides on this really well.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
It's
think-
almost back and forth, too, isn't it? Doesn't it go basically heavy acoustic?
Yeah.
And this could definitely work as 2 separate albums, but it's cool that they do it in one album. But
Yeah.
for no disrespect to my American friend, like I'm not going to throw out barbs like our friend Jay here. Go ahead, George.
Thank you, brother. So what have I been listening to? There's a band called, I think they're pronounced Adeia. It's Adeia.
Oh, it's a great album.
And their second album, Serenity, they're sort of like a prog death band from the Netherlands. Very good stuff if you want to check that out. I've been listening to a hell of a lot of Devin Townsend, particularly the new album, Transcendence.
Jazz hands.
Prog Power really turned me on to him.
Is he farting on that record?
Not that I know of.
No.
And then there's one that Buke told me about, and he didn't mention it. It's Enna Ferens and the Inward Cold. They're a black metal band from Montana.
That was a good call. I like that album a lot.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Buke.
See, we need simple titles. Get your cognizance out of here.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
I've also been listening to the new album from Hans Grossman, The Crypts of Sleep, which is basically just an Alkaloid record under a different name, because everybody in Alkaloid plays on the album. So I'm not
George,
sure.
can I have that again?
Hans Grossman.
Oh, I thought Hans Gruber from frickin' Die Hard.
Yeah. He's got an album coming out next week.
Shoot the glass.
Yeah, Hans.
Is that the name? That's the name of the record, actually. Hans Gruber, Shoot the Glass.
Show him the. Hey Hans, show him the watch.
I've also been listening to In the Woods, Pure, their new album, and as we mentioned before, I'm a little on the fence. I think it's a good album, regardless of what I think of the vocals. I just haven't quite found my place for the vocals yet. Let's see, what else do I have? One more. Sub Rosa, For This We Fought the Battle of Ages.
Oh,
wow,
nice.
what an album!
It really is. I like that album a lot too. It's a good album.
That is some heavy music right there.
Yeah, you've mentioned it a couple of times now. So
Yeah.
I mean, offline.
Yep. All right, let's move on to personal recommendations. We will start with our guests once again.
Yeah, nice. I think I'm gonna.
Just to pick an album you want to recommend.
Everyone knows this album probably here, but maybe not the podcast people who listen to this. This is Disillusion, Back to Times of Splendor.
I was just
listened
playing
to
that
this
for
album.
John.
Holy shit! That right there? That's a home run if there ever was one.
Indeed.
Yes!
Yeah, I mean, I listen to this album like once a week. Basically, it's masterpiece in every way. So.
Man, I love that. George and I
I
love
always,
it.
I'll always forget about the album because of the band, because the band sort of got forgotten. You know, I love that album.
If I can give another recommendation that is not metal, it's you should check out Kingston Wall from Finland. It's they released 3 albums early 90s, and they have a lot of like psychedelic Pink Floyd influences that they infuse with heavy rock music.
Hey, Andres, can you say your personal recommendation again? We didn't hear it on the side.
Kingston Wall. Did you mean that one?
No, before that.
The first one, Disillusion.
Yeah, Disillusion, Back to Times of Splendor.
Disillusion.
Okay.
Yeah, Back to Times of Splendor.
Yeah, when John and I were driving down to Atlanta, I put that on and played it for him. Or maybe it was on the way back, but
Yeah, it was good.
yeah.
It's amazing. It's not good.
It's unfortunate that they didn't continue down that path and then eventually broke up.
You really should, listen to, especially the prog guys should listen to the Kingston Wall stuff. It's really influenced by of Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix stuff, but with
Will just says don't listen to it if you're from Finland, huh? Right, Will?
Will's drinking.
Will with his
Out of him right
Will
now.
with his anti-Finnish rant today.
I'm in just on the Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. My personal recommendations are, you might know both of these, but I don't think I've heard them on the podcast, so that's why I chose them. Xanthocroid, Blessed He with Boils.
No, don't know it.
I
Can
actually
you
got.
type it in?
Yeah, sure. That's a you. That's
Wow, somebody has some typing skill.
Yeah, that was good.
That's why he's the lyricist. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one.
He's the lyricist because he can type. I like that.
That was awesome.
I'm working with coding, so. But
What's the other one?
Neobliviscaris Portal of Eye.
That's funny. We were just trying to figure out how to pronounce that at Prog Power.
Yeah, so that's.
Yeah.
All these coding guys, I love it.
Ne Oblivisca. Yeah, I can't say it, but I know the band.
It's Latin for
Viscaris.
do not forget, I think. But
George,
So
you
those
need to
people-
go back. George, you
Yeah.
need to go back and edit out those typing sequences, and we can use them as a drop sound whenever we're looking something up over here on the show.
Well, we don't have to edit it out. We'll just use it.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
So those of you listening, we're connecting via Skype, and you can type messages messages while you're Skyping with each other, and so that's the very heavy-handed fingers of Jani going,
Yeah.
and then typing us things like "Ne Oblakskarius Porlavai."
Obliscaris, yeah. I've heard.
Yeah.
Metal Chris in our area. The DC metal guy is really big on them. He likes them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Xantocroid one they are actually from the US, and they're what got me hooked, or like how I met the band was from YouTube. They had this cover of Winter Son's "Land of Snow and Sorrow," and I was like, when I first time I heard it, I was like laughing out loud because it was better than the original, and I had no idea how it was possible that it would be better than the original. And then I checked more about the band, and the drummer and singer-songwriter guy, they are both like classical tenors or something. They sing like angels and scream like Satan, and
Definitely checking that out.
yeah, and they're totally like crazy good. It's almost like then this like he's so the main guy, I can't remember his name now, but anyway, he's like doing just for the hell of it, like these all sorts of covers of like mainstream stuff, and he's doing them better than the mainstream versions and everything. And then meanwhile, they got like this really symphonic black metal, like Emperor approach in their own music, while he's covering like some pop song on his own channel and everything. It's the most talented thing I've ever seen in metal, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And Neobliviscaris is bigger. I thought you might have heard about that.
Cool. All right, John, what are you recommending?
All right, I'm going to stick to my prog power roots here for this one, and I'm going to pick an album that most people wouldn't pick by him, but I think it's the most accessible album. That's Addicted by Devin Townsend. It's probably the most straightforward album he's done, but it's my favorite by him because it's good, and it includes Annika van Giersbergen from The Gathering on there, so that's my pick.
And we love her now.
Oh.
And we being me. I
Yeah,
love her.
I've always loved her. George is a convert now, so
Yep.
yes.
All right, Will?
I can't say enough. I said on the last podcast when we were out getting ready to see Sabbath, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Eerie, self-titled album Eerie. Holy shit, this is good.
Check it out.
Are you
it
ever
out.
going to talk about the band Eerie?
Dude, I'm telling you. Have you heard it, George?
Yes, I have.
Do you like it?
Yes, it's good.
It's great.
Excellent.
It's just good.
You're wrong.
I stand corrected.
It's the best album ever made. according to-
All right.
Jay.
Jay.
what do you got?
Now that's
one-
Eerie. E-E-R-I-E.
Correct.
Yes.
E-E-R-I-E.
Yeah, EERIE self-titled album. But it's weird because it has a death metal cover, so don't let the cover scare you away.
Mine is a second album by a band that I think a lot of people agree their first album was classic and then thought this one was a huge fall off, and I did not. And it is Possessed Beyond the Gates.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
great death metal album. Definitely has a different guitar tone than the first one, but it's really great songwriting on there and stuff.
First
Cool
one
songs.
being Seven Churches.
Yes.
Yeah, first one, Seven Churches. Yeah, which everybody calls a classic, but I think Beyond the Gates is at least close to being that good.
It is, I think, widely considered. Seven Churches is widely considered the first death metal album ever.
I could argue in different directions, but it definitely is the first one with the reference to the phrase death. There's a song on there called Death Metal.
Yeah,
and that's
I think it's
definitely
the
the
last
first
song,
song. Yeah, it is. And it's definitely a death metal album. So it's you could argue it, but I would also agree with you on that, Will.
Cool.
Duke.
Well done.
My album, huh?
Yeah.
So it was my number 2 a couple years back. And since we have guests here from Finland, I thought I'd mention one of my favorite Finnish bands and favorite albums. From Ghost Brigade. This is 4, One with the Storm.
They almost made my list.
I absolutely love this album. Love it, love it, love it. You take Opeth, you take Catatonia, a lot of different sounds like that, and you have a perfect album in this. So,
Maybe Catatonia more than Opeth.
Yes, definitely more Catatonia than Opeth. So if you like Buke's recommendation, check out Ghost Brigade 4, One with the Storm.
Right on. My recommendation is a band that I didn't think I was going to like because they kind of have a goofy name. They're sort of a play on some movies from the 80s. This is the band called Necromancing the Stone and Jewel of the Vial.
I think I listened to that. Yeah.
There are some death metal guys that do a power metal album, and it's pretty good.
Awesome.
And that's
What's it
actually
called?
pretty great. That's
Did that
actually a
just
really
come
good title.
What's it called, George?
Necromancing the Stone.
Did it just come out in the last like month or so?
Yeah, fairly recent.
Yeah, I think I listened to that. I was surprised by how it can't be, but how much it did hook me in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How about vinyl purchases? Do you guys buy vinyl at all?
Yeah, so you're asking us right now, I guess.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Ansu doesn't. I buy them, but I don't play them because there's no room for a vinyl player in my house right now. I will get it at some point. When we go to my summer place, my friend sometimes has his turntable with him, and we blast on the fields of the archipelago of Turku, which is like there's no one there, only like elks or something, and we are blasting like the turntable and his speakers all through the night, and it's fantastic. But for now, I have to just buy the vinyl and listen to the digital one when I have bought it. But
You can still hold it in your hands, though.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's even more. That's even more important than the listening part.
Have you picked up anything lately?
Yeah, the last one was the Opeth exclusive silver vinyl of Sorceress. I have this like pedantic thing where I have to only buy like the first press, most limited version, like, and you can think how expensive that gets with Agaloch, the mantle that's going for 500 euros first press and stuff like that. And because I'm not playing them in that sense, so that's why I need like I think of them like trophies or something like that I need the sort of most rare version. And well, I have some. I have the Cynic Traced in Air first press limited version, the Therion Teli, Winter Sun, Time. That's actually 100 copies only in the world, so it's really rare and stuff like that. But I don't really have that many vinyls because of that. So I only try to like do these precise purchases instead of like hoarding.
Sure.
It's a surgical strike, not a what, as we say about George. What was it, George?
I must have them all.
No, it was like a slash and burn, or I can't remember what it was. But
Surgical
your policy
strike is good.
Yeah, yours is surgical strike. George's, I can't remember
Scorched
the name we
earth
had.
policy?
Scorched earth policy. Yeah, scorched earth policy.
All right, John?
Real short. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I'll mention it this time. I know we talked about it. I finally got the Monolord, Lord of Suffering, Dia Hayes single EP, whatever you want to call it. And then I don't physically have these. George has them because they were sent to him. So that's cool. Yeah. So maybe I'll get them. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Wilderness King, Mystical Future, and they released 2 EPs that I believe they put on one vinyl, which is "And the Night Swept Us Away" and "The Devil Within." That's it.
Cool. Giving our South America friends some money.
South African.
Yeah. I love those guys. South American.
What I say, South African. Excuse me. Sorry.
Just across the pond.
Yep.
That's it.
Will doesn't buy any vinyl.
I don't buy vinyl, so I'll tell you I have a bunch of pre-orders. So I pre-ordered The Charred Walls of the Damned, Creatures Watching Over the Dead, His Suicidal Tendencies, World Gone Mad, which I'm super excited about, Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake, also super excited about, and less excited about, but I pre-ordered it anyway, Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Excellent.
All right, I bought a shitload of stuff between now and the last one, so I'll just sort of read them off here. Pausing after the first one to let John say cool. Isis Celestial.
Awesome.
There it is.
Cool.
I didn't have Rain and Blood on vinyl. I don't know why, so I got that. And I think that Deaf American just re-released a bunch of titles on vinyl, because that was one of them.
It was.
I got Monster Magnet, God Says No, Monster Magnet Orway Diablo, which was one of my Holy Grail ones, because that's really hard to get, and I had to kind of pay a little extra to get it. I got Old Man Gloom. This is a Aaron Turner side project from ISIS. I don't know if people know them, but I loved these guys. And I got Zozobra and Christmas. Those are my 2 favorite records by them.
Nice.
I picked up a copy of King Diamond's Fatal Portrait, which I didn't have on LP. I picked up the new Hammers of Misfortune, Dead Revolution. That record's going to be in my top 20 for the end of the year.
That's a great album.
And then yesterday, I was in Amoeba Records in San Francisco, and 2 of my Holy Grail records were re-released on vinyl, unbeknownst unbeknownst to me, and one of them, well, the first one goes usually for about $60 on Discogs, and it was the first Danzig record. So I give a big fuck you to all those guys on Discogs who sell that for absorbent prices. The second one is one I've wanted for a long time, and you only see on this on Discogs for like $1,200 fucking bucks, and now it's out. So fuck those guys. And it's Tool Einema.
Yep.
Yeah, just re-released on vinyl.
You actually count when it gets reissued. So you think if it's like this, your holy grail, and if it gets reissued or remastered or something,
it depends on the record.
Yeah, because
it depends on the record. Yeah,
because I'm thinking with these like Mayhem and Birdsam records, which I really like. It's still, if the original first press on the original label cost like 1,500 euros, and then you're buying the 20 euro reissue. It's it doesn't just feel that you've got your holy grail in that sense. So.
Well, I'll tell you. That's interesting you say that. But here's my personal thinking on it, which is, I'll pay a little more for records that I had as a kid. So like I have a copy of Hell Awaits now, Slayer Hell Awaits, but like I didn't have that for a long time. I used to have it as a kid. I like having those original versions because the nostalgia is not complete for me unless it has the same label and the same everything that I can look at and stuff like that. But whereas something like the Tool album, which I really like that record, I listen to vinyl all the time, and I really enjoy the quality of it, and I really just wanted that on vinyl. And I actually guarantee you, from my part, that record probably sounds better than the original release.
Yeah, probably.
The Tool, yeah, so I go both ways. I
I understand.
I'm sampling that.
And they put and by the way, that like the Tool record was a great package. They really fucking made it look nice. It probably is just exactly like the original one. So I have mixed emotions about it, but I buy a lot of vinyl, and like the Danzig, I don't need the original Danzig, but I'm glad to have it on vinyl finally. So that's it.
Yeah, I understand it totally.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of money on records in the last couple of weeks. Uke.
The Ash, I mentioned earlier, the Ashen Horde, 9 Plagues. Dimmu, I got their Death Cult Armageddon. Vector, Vector, Terminal Redux. Aborted, Retro Gore. I got the reissue of Gwar, Scumdogs of the Universe. I got the Sentence.
Sorry, Buke. Which issue of Terminal Redux did you get?
I got the right here.
Yep.
It is the
mine's colored.
Black.
Okay.
Did you get a color, George? I think you got, because we ordered them at the same time, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure I did, but I don't recall it off the top of my head.
I think
there's the purple, I think purple deluxe one.
I think that's what I got. It also came with a signed insert.
Yeah, that's going for like $200 or euros right now or something. So.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's in the one.
Right on.
Cool.
Again, Aborted, Retro Gore. I absolutely love that album. A death metal fan should check that album out. Sentenced, my Cold White Light and Crimson reissues came in. The Opeth Laminations, that's Shepherd Bush came in. Despised Icon Beast. That's about it.
Cool.
Pretty good list.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I mentioned these. Agalak, Ashes, and The Mantle got those reissues too.
And
sorry,
Yngwie Malmsteen.
I skipped that.
You also have Yngwie Malmsteen Marching Out, which I literally can't show it on camera because it's literally packed up right now. It's going out in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, I really don't know how. I thought I had that. I
thought you did too.
I know you didn't, actually. We talked about it once.
All right.
I found it for
You'll
$6, so I picked it up for him yesterday.
I also...
we skipped Andreas. I think he was on the toilet or something.
Okay.
Oh,
Go for it.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. It's actually about the recent purchases. I've been listening a lot of the Cult of Luna latest release. I haven't got into that yet, but this release I love it much. So I think I have some new band to listen to a lot. So
Cool.
The Mariner is the latest release. So
Yeah,
very good vocals, very good riffs, very good atmosphere. Everything is working fine.
That's a great album.
And and I've been I bought the new Vector shirt actually for the Terminal Redux because I just love that album like Jani does and apparently Buke does. So
They're so good.
yeah, it's awesome.
I was worried they were never going to come back. It seemed like a long time between this album and their last album.
Was it 5 years?
Yeah. So cool. Anything else?
Not so much right now. I've been In the Woods Omnia. I bought like a month ago and tried to listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Still getting into that. It's not broken in yet. So
Okay. For me, I also got the Ashen Horde 9 Plagues. Thank you, Trevor. Great album. You should check that out. Excuse me. I also picked up Cave of Swimmers Reflection. They finally released that on vinyl. I got the Devin Townsend Project Transcendence. I got the vinyl. I finally got my pre-order of In Mourning, The Weight of Oceans. I got Running Wild's Rapid Foray, which probably the only one that ever in the world that bought that one, but so what? And then, like John mentioned, from our friends in South Africa, we got Wilderness King, Mystical Future, and then the two EPs combined, and The Night Swept Us Away, and The Devil Within. Let's do some deep tracks. Did you guys do any deep tracks?
Yeah, so should we start again? Andreas, do you want to say yours first? Are you there?
He passed out.
Okay, so I'll start. He mixed too much vodka with the red one. So my deep cut is from the first Winter Sun album. If you just have sometimes like a little bit like grazed over that album or something, you should check Battle Against Time. It's a really short track, but it has this like super killer riff in the middle. That's like probably one of my favorite like metal riffs of all time. It's super energetic, and it has this like a little bit maybe trash element or something. I don't know, like really killer thing that might be totally overlooked with them.
I definitely want to hear that again. All this Winter Sun talk, I haven't listened to them in a while, and I really want to go check that out again.
Yeah, well, it's the first album.
Yeah, they're both good.
Yeah.
Is he back yet?
He's trying to write us, maybe his connection or something.
Okay.
Or maybe it's just his face on the keyboard.
his chat is slowly filling up with why. Oh, that's okay.
Oh, snap.
All right, no problem.
All right, no problem.
We're almost done anyway.
But and thanks for coming, dude. Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, well then let's move on to John.
All right. So I'll keep in the Prog Power theme here for me, since that's my big weekend of the year for music. And I'm going to go with a song from The Gathering off of their Nighttime Birds album called The Earth Is My Witness. If you like Annie as a singer, she absolutely shines on this song. And it's a little bit deeper cut. Give it a spin if you want to try it. So
Excellent. Will?
So mine has a very short backstory to it. My kids, who are 5.5 and almost 3, are hooked on Paw Patrol, the cartoon series.
I just got brief. Look, funny you say that. Look what I'm holding.
So every time I hear Paw Patrol, I think of Hell Patrol or Dawn Patrol. So Hell Patrol, the song from Judas Priest Painkiller album, song number 2. The Hell Patrol, and then Dawn Patrol off
Night Ranger.
No,
Megadeth.
yes, Megadeth.
Oh, dude, and that's a great song, by the way.
Yeah, it's kind of like this, like it's almost like a spoken word song. Yeah. So
It is a spoken word song, yeah.
yeah. So my deep track, Judas Priest Painkiller album, song number 2, Hell Patrol. Thanks to my children, because I've been singing that in my head all the time now.
Yeah, cool tune.
I like that. Without all the background, that is, in honor of my children, Hell Patrol.
There's a hidden meaning in there somewhere.
That's what he calls watching them.
Yeah.
That's how hellish this is.
All right, mine is sort of in honor of John, who made a joke referencing this song about a week ago to me and all of us, I think. Anyway, it was one of my favorite songs when this record came out, and it's a deep track. I would call it a deep track off of Peace of Mind, Die With Your Boots On.
Nice.
This is what's interesting to me is "Die With Your Boots On" is one of my all-time favorite, and I've used that for a deep track before. It's one of my all-time favorite Iron Maiden songs. And I feel like it get the respect of the play it should. And
it's so good.
Yeah, it's so great.
They play it on XM kind of regularly.
Yeah. And Iron Maiden is one of those bands that have a plethora of those like deep cut songs, like because they have so many songs that people listen to. So there's so many like those deep cut.
It's hard, yeah.
And for me, maybe it's a little bit more personal to me, being a military guy for the last 25 years. It speaks to me a little bit more. So I always was curious why it was a bigger single, I guess is the correct word for it. But yeah, love that song.
And just to put a little more background there, what happened was I got the new Trooper Porter that came out, the Iron Maiden beer, and I had posted that, and John said, "Drink with your boots on." So I was like, and it reminded me how much I love that fucking song. But which, by the way, the beer isn't terribly good. And you guys get to try it.
Wait, a Trooper Porter?
Yeah, just came out.
Yeah,
I'll send you one if you can't find it.
Wait, by the way, Jay. So I have to say this. I've been meaning to text you or email you, but I did get your package. I did drink the Macedon beer that you sent me the other day. I did review it. I mean, it was it was good for what it was. It was definitely good. Luckily, it was unfiltered in bottle condition, which will allow it to stay a little bit longer in the bottle, stay fresher, I guess, or taste better. I do have a plethora of beers that I have failed to deliver to you.
That's all right, dude.
But you know what it is? I keep going because I keep promising you Atlas Brew Works t-shirts, and I've been there like 3 times, and every time I leave, the problem is every time I leave, I don't remember to get you the
Yeah, well, you guys got to do it before you start
I remember
drinking.
when I get there. I don't remember when I leave.
He needs to just buy the shirt when he walks in, put it in his car, go back to the brewery.
So
I'll say this.
I owe you, Jay.
Brother, don't worry about it.
I have all the beer. I just need to get t-shirts and
Dude, no worries. I got nothing but love for you, my friend. And moreover, if you cannot find that Trooper Porter, let me know and I'll send you one.
I'm sure I'll find it somewhere.
It's ubiquitous as the other one. You'll find it somewhere, yeah. And it's as good as the other one, which is to say it's about
as good. Please tell me it's better.
No. I was actually saying it's as bad as the other one. It's really just Trooper. It's literally just Trooper with a little porter kick to it. It's carbonated too, by the way. It was nothing special, but the bottle's kick ass. It's called Trooper Black and Red.
Okay. Oh, Black and Red from the song from the Book of Souls.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best song on the album.
Probably so. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I think Buke walked off.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So I'll pick one for him. Fernando by ABBA.
Something off Machine Head, the Blackening album.
Hello.
All right. George, go.
No, I can't. It's out of order. Can't happen.
Okay, you can splice. You did some crazy splicing job one time when I came in last 5 minutes of the podcast.
I did.
I'm here. I'm there. I'm here. I'm
Somehow
there.
you were on like an hour and a half of the show.
Yeah.
But was it Will always saying something that was not related? Yes, I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I need to get some stock stuff from everybody. So if they have to drop out, I can just drop it in once in a while.
I can't believe you said that.
We still haven't talked about Haken.
Yeah. You know what? Here's our space. Here's our dead space. Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
Do you really want to do this? I mean,
I want to hear it. Yeah, fucking let loose, man.
all right. So there is such a Prague favorite and such a fan, a big band fan thing at Prague Power, and we went in thinking, okay, hopefully this won't be that bad. And within 2 minutes, the singer started singing. Like George said, everything was sharp the whole show. He never changed or varied.
All right.
Oh, and it took, even if you liked what the band was playing, it just ruined it for me personally. I just could not. He was horrible. And then he started doing this pretentious shit on stage where the keyboardist was doing some kind of neat little.
Wait, a Prague guy doing pretentious shit on stage? Sorry, I've never been to a Prague show. I just hear what you guys talk about.
Yeah, trust me. If I'm saying that, this is bad. Trust me. Because usually we're like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever done in mankind. He just was plucking stars out of the sky during these little keyboard parts. What? Yeah, and George and I, and the rest.
You paid for this?
Oh no, the rest of the festival was awesome. He was such a douche, that guy. And like I said, we're probably going to lose. Anyone who heard about the podcast is going to turn us off now because
they're gone now. Yeah. I figured out while this was going on that my terminal redux is.
It's nice.
Yeah, but it's not that purple super. And you're right about that. It's the purple one is the super edition.
Yeah.
Anyway, George, you can keep or kill out as you see.
No, it's fine. Duke's back now. Let's let him do his deep track.
I just wanted to get this on record. My wife had surgery the other day, and I've been taking care of her around the clock. So
you said that before too, but I just want to say she had surgery on her foot, so people don't think she had a brain tumor or something.
She had surgery on her foot, so I've been taking care of her around the clock. And babe, I love you, and I hope you continue to get better. I'll be here for you the next couple of days, love. But my deep track, I've mentioned another song off this album, but I'm going to mention another one because the guys just saw them off of Imaginations from the Other Side. This is I'm Alive.
Yeah,
that's
great.
That's a good one.
Good selection.
Yes.
Probably the best song on that record, really.
Yeah.
Good
We're
song.
huge Blind Guardian fans
Go
with
ahead.
Andreas.
Go.
Mine is pretty much anything these guys have done is a deep track, but I'm going to go with Down to the Gallows by Timeless Miracle from Into the Enchanted Chamber.
There's still hope, George. They suppose they have a new album coming out this year, right?
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Maybe we'll finally get that second album.
Yeah.
But all right. Well,
Marathon.
yeah.
Well, this was a fun one. We haven't done one in like a month and a half, couple months. This was a real fun time to get everyone back together again.
Yep.
Got the band back together.
And deeply grateful to, and I can't say who's left here. Who it was on?
Yanni's
Yanni's
still
still.
here.
Yanni,
Sorry,
it
Yanni.
is very late over there. Yanni, we appreciate you spending your Sunday with us here, brother.
Yeah.
And into
No problem.
Monday.
I have to wake up in 5 hours, but
Oh no!
But
it's okay.
we're very grateful for you.
Yeah, we
no
really
problem.
appreciate
It was really a blast. We thank you both with Andreas, and I will keep listening. Probably he will as well. Hopefully.
Please,
Hopefully.
plug
Please.
you guys stuff. Where can everybody check out Perihelion Ship?
Yeah, so at perihelion.bandcamp.com. We have Facebook as well.
Records on iTunes.
I think someone is taking care of that Facebook. I have no idea. I'm totally out of that loop. But
the record is also on iTunes, just so people know that.
yeah, it's probably everywhere. Hopefully.
Excellent.
Hopefully. We hope
Please
so.
check them out. Support them. It's really good stuff.
The album again is a Rare Thunderstorm in Spring.
All right. Well, before we go, we're also going to plug our stuff. Make sure to check us out on SoundCloud or on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Disciple OV Metal. Buke is on there as Opeth Fan.
I am at Catatonic J, and I don't often do this, but I'm plugging my band. We're getting a new record put together. Don't forget to check out my band, Catatonic.
Whoa! You didn't tell us about this new record, Catatonic
Yeah.
Society?
It's coming together.
All right.
It'll be a little while yet, but I mean we're ready to blow. We just got to figure out where we're going to do it.
Did you get a new vocalist to replace that last one? That was-
Common question.
That was my rate. That was
So
my
often I hear that.
And John and Will on your Twitter.
yeah, I'm Will at Brew Metal Will.
And I'm at White Cluster 69.
At
And
Mexican
I am
or-
at Catatonic Society. We'll get a beer before Metalheads Pod will get a beer.
Oh, sure.
I doubt that.
And of course, you know me. I'm at Opeth Fan.
Yeah, I told him while you were off.
Yeah. While you're off whining about your lack of beer.
Yeah. We're also on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher. And of course, you can find us at wearemetalheads.com.
Let's shut this bitch down.
Yep. All right. Yanni, it's good talking to you. We'll talk to you later.
You too.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a
Thanks,
pleasure.
man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, bye.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Yep, bye.